Papá, mamá, esta es para ustedes. Soy de gente muy humilde, pero muy trabajadora. Mi familia es de rancho, somos puro corazón. Mis padres se la rifaron por el sueño americano, buscando un mejor futuro para mí y mis hermanos. Trabajamos en el campo y también en la cocina. Cocineros, lavaplatos, es lo que nos dio la vida. Recogiendo la cosecha bajo el sol es una chinga. ¡Ese es mi gallo! Si nadie quiere esa chamba, ¿por qué diablos no le envidia? Esta es pa' mi raza que trabaja día con día, los que se parten la madre y sin ellos no hay comida. A veces quiero rajarme, pero Diosito es muy grande. Si no fuera por ustedes, todos nos morimos de hambre. Mi corazón para toda mi gente de Guerrero. Nos jodemos en el campo y donde quiera que nos pidan. Albañiles, jardineros, son los golpes de la vida. Recogiendo la cosecha bajo el sol es una chinga. Y no se me raje mi gente si nadie quiere esa chamba, porque diablos no la envidia. Esta es pa' mi raza que trabaja día con día, los que se parten la madre y sin ellos no hay comida. A veces quiero rajarme, pero Diosito es muy grande. Y esa gente trabajadora, si no fuera por ustedes y sin indocumentados, todos nos morimos de hambre.
Wacky Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered, the real deal. No pre-planning, no chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
And we're live on another episode of Bumper's Wacky Wednesday, live from the studio here in San Antonio, Texas. And I am just in a very nostalgic feeling. I'm just going to throw that right out the bat. I'm in a very nostalgic feeling. I've been hauling butt all day, but, you know, that's a typical Bumper Gomez day. And, you know, I know everybody's getting ready here, and I think in about a week from now, the next week already is the It's a Tejano Music Fan Fair. So I know everybody's getting ready to come down to San Antonio and enjoy some great Tejano music. There's all kinds of, not just the TTMA Fan Fair, but there's something else going on at the Market Square. There's a lot of after parties going on. So make sure you guys that are coming from out of town, you guys start getting on social media this week. It's already next week. And you guys know where to be, your favorite bands, where they're playing at, because I know all my friends that own clubs and stuff, they're going to be, it's just, the city's going to be crazy. And it's all going to be about Tejano, which is great. But back to my nostalgic feeling. Growing up, you guys always hear me go back to my childhood in good old Beeville, Texas. And, growing up there, Tejano has always been me. Like that. Like I listen to rap, I listen to everything, but Tejano was always just my soul, and I've never let it go. And before I forget, I want to give a big shout out to my sister, who a couple of weeks back made a little post, and it kind of touched my heart. She's like, man, I remember I used to watch you starch your pants and listen to Tejano music and get ready to go to a baile or something. She goes, every time I hear it, it just brings me back that feeling. So shout out to my sister Marisa there in Beeville, Texas. But ladies and gentlemen, live here in the studio, here in Bumpers Wacky Wednesday studio, the one, the only, the legendary Mr. Pete Astudillo. What's up, man?
Man, that introduction, man. I was wondering what the hell you were talking about. It can't be me, man. Wait, first of all, man, you said come to the house for a glass of wine. You didn't say we were gonna record or anything. I was brought here under false
pretenses.
False pretenses. I was brought here, but what the heck, I'm here. Un saludo para todos los amigos que nos están viendo en donde sea que estén, whatever you're doing. Sit down for a little bit. We're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna discuss.
Yeah,
we're gonna rewind and get nostalgic, like you said. And I just want to say thank you so much, Bumper, and thank you so much for what you do, man. You're doing some really good work here.
Yeah.
I've seen some of your interviews. I haven't seen them all.
Well, there's too many. There's too many.
Felicidades por el trabajo que estás haciendo. Y gracias por la invitación.
No, man. Pete, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here, man. Again, I always go back to growing up and stuff. Like, you're part of my childhood. Like, literally watching you drive up in that beautiful car, I'm on the porch saying to myself, yeah, dude, I'm like, that's not a gargacha right there. Definitely not a gargacha, but anyway, it's a beautiful car, to say the least. But to see you get out and I'm literally staring at you saying, dude, Pete Astudillo is about to walk into our home and be on the show. Again, it just reminds me of how far we've come with Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, and I can't wait to get into your story, Pete, who Pete Astudillo is. And I've known you. I YouTubed you, I do my little research and you've done tons of interviews, not tons, but you've done plenty of interviews. And, a lot of the things are they're kind of cookie cutter. Everybody wants to know the same things. And I told Pete tonight, I really want people at the end of tonight's interview, I want people to know who Pete Astudillo, the person is. Right? We're going to talk music. We're going to talk about, stories and whatnot. But Pete Astudillo, the guy who gets in the nice car and takes off, like, what does he play on the radio? You know what I'm saying? Is he a menudo pozole kind of guy? Like, we're gonna get to know Pete a little bit tonight. So I hope you're ready, brother.
Compadre, I'm ready, compadre. I hope you guys are ready, because my mic's falling down. It's crazy.
He's ready looking.
What's going on here? No, man, it's crazy. It is a wacky Wednesday.
It is a wacky Wednesday.
I am ready, compadre. I'm ready. You hit me, I'll you set him up, I'll knock him out of the park, hopefully.
So real quick, guys, I know probably a lot of you are scratching your head. You saw Pete Astudillo, Bumpers Wacky Wednesday live, and everybody's waiting for Como Te Extraño to play as the opening song. And no, that's in the past. That's a legendary song. It will always be a legendary. 100 years from now, when somebody comes back and looks at Tejano music, that's going to be one of the songs that people are gonna refer like that was Tejano music right there.
definitely,
And hopefully
definitely.
we're still going, right? And maybe the music
I think
will evolve. But where I'm going with this, I'm sure a lot of people are like, yo, that's different, Pete. Like what was that? A little banda, but seeing the cover of that single, you know, seeing you on the tricycle and your mom and dad. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Pete. If you guys go on YouTube and look it up, that is Pete Reed. That's you and that bike, you know.
That is me. The new single is called "Estas Pa Mi Raza," and it just came out at the beginning of this year, like mid-January. So it's available everywhere. Raza, go pick it up, go get it, share it, enjoy it, listen to it, dance to it, whatever makes you feel good. And it's a brand new song. You know what? You know that this is the first song that I ever put out on like the digital platforms. You know me. I'm old school, dude.
I know. I went and looked at your Apple thing. I'm like, hey, no, hold up, bro. He's got more albums than this.
No, te estoy diciendo lo que pasa que before that I'm like the label generation. You know, I was with Capital EMI along with a lot of other different artists. I was part of that generation that grew up with the labels. So when I had to transition to this new way of working, which is really new to me, believe it or not, and I know I've been doing this for 39 years now. Almost 40 years I've been in the industry. And it's crazy
bro.
And when people started telling me, no, you have to put it on all the digital platforms. Like, so you mean to tell me that I got to go to the studio, I got to write songs, I can do the production, got to hire people, hire musicians, put it all the work, and then I got to give it away. That's what you're telling me.
To get 0.00001 penny for every play.
Compadre, and I swear to God, it just didn't register. And llevo años like fighting it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm old school, man. I'm used to the old way of doing things. So I said, you know what? You quieres progresar. You want to move forward. You gotta join the team. You gotta join the new way of doing things. So this is the first official song that I, as Pete Astudillo, put out on all the digital platforms. My music. I mean, a lot of the older stuff, of course, was through the labels. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the music, some of the labels own it. You know, I was with Q Productions, the Familia Quintanilla, my management, of course, all of that. But this is the first official song that I put out as my song on all the digital platforms. Es un regalo para ustedes, and it's a song that wasn't even supposed to be coming out. Okay, it wasn't supposed to come out because I wrote this, I want to say around August of last year, and I was just at home feeling very nostalgic. Both my parents, I lost my mom, 30 years ago, 1994.
Wow.
I lost my mom just a year before Selena passed, believe it or not.
Man, that must have been a tough 15, 16 months for you, bro.
It was horrific. As a matter of fact, I blanked. There's a lot of spaces that are blank, honest to God. Mm-hmm. So, and my dad passed away, 15 years ago. So I lost both my parents already. It's been a while, but you never forget, man. And I'm already an older man, but no se te olvida, man. And you have that with you. And like I said, I was just being very nostalgic. That's word's coming up a lot today, isn't it?
Nostalgic. There you go. We got education around this, bud.
Man.
Education around here.
No, and I just started thinking, you know what? I've never written a song about my family. I wrote Como Te Extraño, of course, from my mom and Selena. And I've written about love and pain and estúpidos románticos. And I've written about everything. And I go, why have I never written a song about my family? And I just started kind of brainstorming. I said, I need to write something for my raza. I need to write something for my... Esto pa mi raza. And it was just very natural, very organic way it came to be. And like 30 minutes later, I had like the first verse, kind of, sort of, because I don't play an instrument. A lot of people think, and that's why I think musicians are incredible, because they are. I don't play the guitar or
El Guido? Ni El Guido.
I was gonna get to it. I'm the Guido.
My bad.
So the thing is, people go like, how the hell do you write a song if you don't know how to play a guitar or a piano? In my case, everybody's different. I think the ability that the fact that I can sing is what makes me write songs, because I write the melodies and the words at the same time in my head, kind of, sort of. And the fact that I can sing it out and I can sing the melody, that's how I form my songs. So I kind of form them at the same time in my head. That's when I write by myself. You know, when I write with AB, it's different. When I write with Ricky, it's different.
Yeah.
Or other people. But when I write by myself, I pretty much formulate the melody and the words at the same time in my head. And then I start mumbling it. Okay, no. And I just start doing it until I get it. And then once I get all the song done, that it's a song that I can actually sing, then I'll bring in my guitar player or my piano player.
And they'll go off of it.
And we'll start doing the chord progression. And then from there, we'll start arranging it. And this song is the same thing. And like I said, it's something that I wrote for my family. My familia, my family's from Guerrero, el estado de Guerrero, which is where Acapulco is. People don't recognize that area. But we're from a ranchito named Tuzantlan, Guerrero, which is a rancho, man. It's literally, I remember growing up, when we go visit my grandparents, because both my parents are from there was no running water or no electricity. I mean, the dirt roads and the cows and the pigs were...
Rancho,
that's something. It was rancho, man. The adobe little huts and everything.
Yeah.
You know, with the little lanterns, the kerosene lanterns walking around. So that's the way I remember... But I loved it, man. It was such a great experience. So I took all of that into account and I put it into this song, which, like I said, wasn't even supposed to come out because this was going to be a gift for me, and it was also going to be a gift for my siblings for Christmas. I was going to record it and then give it to my carnales, mis hermanas, al tío, a la tía, as a little gift. But then when I finished it, all the people that worked on it, I worked with a lot of really good people on this song. They would always ask me, like, hey, when are you going to put the song out? And I go like, well, I'm not going to put the song out. And
so apparently you didn't tell them when they recorded, hey, this is just for me.
Well, I never told them because, well, the thing is I was paying them. They didn't do it for free. And of course, they're musicians. So, I hired them to do the work. But the more I showed it to also I started showing little pieces to my siblings and to friends, close friends, and people in the industry. And they're like, no, do you need to put this out, man? Because he goes, I know it's your story. I know it's super personal. He goes, but this is a story of millions of people. This is a story maybe of not you today. Maybe you're a second or third generation, but this is a story of your grandpa.
Your grandfather, your dad. Yeah.
Because we're all here now, and you might be second, third, fourth, fifth generation, but somebody had to get here first. And this is kind of like that story. Who got here first and who sacrificed so you could be
be where you're at. Yeah.
You could be el bumper aquí en tu casona toda madre.
Yeah.
So that's what the story is about. So after so many people telling me, you need to put it out, I decided to put it out, and it's out now, and it's available everywhere, and it's an all digital platform, something I've never done before.
So I already in the chat room, I already know people are going to be like, hey, but what about if we want the older albums of Astudillo, are you going to find a way to put those digitally out? Or is that is that one of those issues where like the record label has those songs and it's up to them?
Well, I think I'm going to do a Taylor Swift, man. And I'm going to re-record a lot of my old songs.
Because a lot of people don't know. Pete, if you re-record a song, it's got to be so many years after. Right? For you, so for instance, if Capital EMI owns a song, you have to wait so many years before you can re-record it. And I don't know, maybe I heard that wrong.
Yeah.
But for you to make it if they own the song, right, you can re-record it, but it has to be so many years after.
Something like that. You know what? I'd be lying to you if I said I knew it 100%. But no, I can go in there and re-record my own music. A lot of those songs belong to me too. I mean,
okay.
I co-wrote most of this stuff with AB or with Ricky or so I've been thinking about doing that, re-recording some of my older stuff. But no, we're going to be putting out some old stuff too. I mean, we like the old school stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, going back to that point, this is not a Tejano song. It starts off with.
And the reason I brought it up right up front because I know the people are like, yo, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? Pete, this is just not Tejano music. But we went off camera. We talked about it. Like, man, to me lately, I used to be a big thing about labels, right? Like, and as I've brought in my head and done more interviews and try to look at things differently, like it's just a label. like music is music. Whether you like it, whether you not, I get it. You got to label it for award purposes and kind of which way you push the music and what radio station. I understand that. But at the end of the day, like, it's music. And if I like the song, I like it. I don't care if it's Tejano, banda, regional, whatever you want to call it. I like the song.
Right? If it's let me tell you one thing, man. If it's a good song, it's a good song, and no matter what you label it, no matter what you call it, no matter where you put it, it's gonna take off.
Yeah.
And I always give an example of a good friend of mine, un camarada, Mr. Hugo Guerrero, La Charanga.
Hugo, yeah.
Charanga's not a cumbia, dude. Charanga's not Tejano. Charanga is charanga. And
that's like a type of music, right?
I believe so, or it's like type of musicians that do certain style, but it's kind of charanga. So like charanga is not cumbia, it's not tejano, it's not. I mean, and so like, but what was it? It was good, and everybody loved it.
It was catchy,
and it went for that summer. When was it? 19? I don't remember when it came out.
19 throw it away, como dicen. 19 throw it away.
Yeah. I mean, but my point is, yes, man. If it's good, it's good, and people are gonna enjoy it. People are gonna like it. People are. I mean, and it's gonna cry. And the beauty of when something like that happens, like Hugo Guerrero, I'm still using Hugo as an example, because that song got played outside Tejano. It got played outside Norteño station. It got played outside regional stations. But you know how much attention that brought to our genre, the Tejanos. I mean, the charanga song, yeah, we know that song.
Yep.
Everybody knew charanga. Or it's like, for example, like that Gangnam Style. What is Gangnam Style?
Oh, the Korean dude?
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
But everybody, what the hell was it? We don't know what it is. But
or más antes, ¿te acuerdas? In the early 90s, era Snow. You remember that? Eddie, help me out. What was the Snow song? The rap song? The Paperboy and the Diddy. You do the Diddy. No, bro, y'all making me look bad.
You're on your own, Bato. You're on your own, Bato.
Mute his ass. Mute that mic. But I get what you're saying, and you know, with the labels of music, it's just like with social media, Pete, it's crazy on how many people argue, and I've been in the middle of the arguments. Sometimes yo pongo cosas just to start an argument, just to see the people kind of go back and forth, and that's what I usually. That's mostly what I do it for. Just see people interact with one another.
I mean, it's somewhat of a valid argument, and it is. But the thing is, at the end of I think if the music is good, and I mean, and the people like it, that should be the end of it. That should be the end of it. But and the thing is, from the early days, man, like when Studio Osuna did Talk to Me, that's not Tejano, man. You're trying to do something to bring more attention to Tejano, and he did, man. I mean, that
Chicano, that wasn't even Chicano music. I mean, that was just oldies. That was soldies or whatever they called them. Yeah.
I mean, Little Joe did it too, and he did stuff with Willie Nelson. Emilio did it with the country stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, back to my roots, Selena, man. We would do that, the rancheras, si la quieres, and ya ves, and all that. And then we would throw in the cumbias, and then we threw the cumbias with a little bit more rhythm. And then we do a techno cumbia, and then Selena would do mariachi. But I think at the end of the day, what Emilio did, and Sonny, and Little Joe, and anybody that's gone out of the comfort zone and has success at it, they're bringing more attention to our genre, man. I mean, and I know Fronteras is a very hot topic right now, but that's what they're doing too, man. They're bringing that attention to the Tejanos.
Well, one more time, Pete. Just look at that camera right there and say your last sentence again. Nice and clear.
What is it?
They're bringing what?
They're bringing positive attention to our genre, the Tejano, la onda, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
They're bringing it to us, and the thing is, it's making kids. That we had lost a lot of a young crowd. We haven't. We gotta call it.
No, we haven't. We're still trying to get them. We're trying to bring them.
But I think Selena back in the day did it, and still doing it now.
Yeah, no, for you, dude. Selena will forever be any of those. And you know what, Pete? Like, I don't know if you ever just go through social media, especially something like TikTok or whatever. When you see other races from all over the world singing songs that you wrote,
Dude.
that you wrote, bro. Like, it gives me a knot in my throat to stop to think. Like, we as a cultura, I always say this in the show, we're our worst critics.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Rasta's always, we can never just be, damn, Pete, that was badass. Hell yeah. It'd be more like, it was all right? But you leave and that was a badass song, right? Yeah. But to your face, I mean, it was okay. I think the machismo in our cultura, it keeps us from doing that. And I just, you know, Bobby Pulido was here a couple of months back, and he expressed the same thing. Like, look, man, we just need to support each other.
Yeah,
that's it. And we support each other. We can. You know, this genre can grow and it'll continue to grow.
And embrace the differences. You know, embrace. I mean, like fusion. I mean, everybody talks about fusing things, and we've been doing it. Like back to Sonny, he did it. Little Joe's been doing it forever, man. Like he had that big orchestra style, but then he would do like these power ballads.
Yep.
But volviendo otra vez con Emilio. Emilio también is a perfect example. He would mix a lot of the country with the Tejano. And even David Lee Garza still does it now, man.
David Lee is a very underrated progressive Tejano
Dude, he's
band.
amazing, dude.
But when you say progressive,
David
some
Lee,
people will look
you're
at you like,
amazing.
what? No, David Lee, dude, esos vatos, I can watch, and no nomás porque son camaradas, but neta, I can see the musicales every day of the week, and I'm never bored. Like, musician-wise, their dudes are just amazing,
you
brother.
You just said that, man. That there's such a solid unit, such a solid band. And the thing is, I think the proof is in the pudding, how solid that band is. Because look how many singers have come out of there. And I'm talking amazing singers, man. You know, from Jay Perez to
the whole camp, bro. It's whole camp.
I mean, everybody. And, you know, when they're at their peak, when they're doing amazing, and then they leave the band, you think, well, the band's going to flop. No, man, bring the next one in.
They got another one waiting right here.
So, I mean, that's an amazing credit to David Lee, los musicales. And, of course, the singers, too. I mean, they're camaradas of mine, too. Yeah. I love Jay. I mean, of course, Emilio, when he was alive, we were very good close. And all the guys. I mean,
yeah.
So there's too many.
There's too many. Yeah. And then you're going to forget one. They're going to be like, you forgot me. There you go. That's how you do it right there, Pete.
They're all amazing in their own right.
No, for sure.
But the foundation, the common denominator is that incredible band, which is David Lee Garza.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Musicales,
for sure.
Which also embrace, I always hear a little country, a little twang in there with David.
And he's turned with the time, right? He's turned with time, and he continues to put out, you know, maybe it's not as fast as we want, but he continues to put out great music, you know, year after year or every 2 years or whatever. You know what I mean? It's all good. I think one of the issues that I would love your opinion on is, you know, earlier you talked about Sonny Osuna and Little Joe, and then, you know, went into Mas and the Mafia days, and then, you know, the Selena days, where, you know, people forget that before Amor Prohibido, like, there's a lot of albums where they were on the road, like the actual band, like they were busting their butt, you know, and a lot of people outside of here, they don't know that story. They just think of, she came on, Amor Prohibido, and Bidi, and Como all these came on, and yeah, she was a star. No, like, they busted their ass to get to where they were, you know, at the time that it just blew up. But where I was going with is that she did it so majestically with you, and AB making this music. The music was changing in front of our eyes, and we didn't, as fans, we didn't care that it was changing.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, this is awesome, right? But you take that music and you go back to 1985, people would have been like, hey, what the hell was going on?
But the una cosa, people sometimes are scared of change. And the thing is, going back to the music and the 1980 and the 80s, like I came into the picture like in 88. And of course, Tejano, the sound of Tejano is a little different. It was, you know, Mas, of course, and La Mafia were kings at that time. And Selena was up and coming. But they had that keyboard. They had a sound, man. They had a really unique sound, which, like you said, it started changing progressively. And I remember, I mean, this is the true story, man. I say when I first started writing with AB, I think the first song that we wrote together was Besitos. It was for the first album that we did with Capital EMI.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I might say it a little wrong, okay? Don't crucify me if I say it a little wrong. It's been a lot of years.
I've been doing this for a long time.
I've been doing it for a long time, Mexican. So I remember that AB wanted to put more than one cumbia on the album. And man, that started a whole like, what do you mean you want to put more than one? You want to do 2-3 cumbias on an album? No, you don't do that on a Tejano album. And that was coming from management, from the label, and they're like, you that's unheard of. How can you? And of course they'd be like, no. He goes, I think AB's got a lot of vision, and I think he saw it before we could see it, or before other people could see it. Like, this is the direction, man. Okay, like the last cumbita we did, hey man, that sparked, it made some sparks. Why don't we do a little bit more of that? And I think that's where he was going. But the label, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I might say a little wrong, so don't crucify me, but the label was kind of like hesitant. And I want to say, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me, but even Mr. Quintanilla was a little hesitant to put more than one cumbia on an album because he thought that was like suicide. Wow. And AB, I'm sure, talked it out because, of course, they get their inner circle, Suzette, of course, Selena, Abraham, and I'm sure he talked it out with them, and obviously he convinced them, and because we did more than one cumbia on that album, and that's where we continued to grow in that direction. And then at the end, we were doing mostly cumbias. I mean, we were doing that many. We're still doing the rancheras, which worked really well for us too. But the direction it went was more to the rhythmic, the cumbia.
Well, too, Pete, you guys are out on the road. You're seeing the crowds. You're playing the music. You see what moves the people. If you're on stage playing a cumbia and you're seeing the reaction you're getting from people, pues I mean, you're gonna wanna make something that's gonna keep those people with that same reaction live. But listening to it, like now I'm driving, like, oh man, that's a badass cumbia.
And going back to what you just said, I think that's what AB was really good at. He could read the crowd, like, hey man, we did this. And, I mean, he's very methodical in his way of thinking, and maybe one day you can talk to him. He can explain more his way of thinking, but the rhythm, and it's got to be at this tempo, and when we did this tempo, the people reacted, and when we did this, the people react. So he's very methodical like that. And going back also to the songwriting and the production of the song, I know that him and I and Ricky Vela and Selena, of course, and rightfully so, we always get so much credit for it, and I am grateful, and I say thank you to the people, but man, behind each song, there's an army of people, man. It wasn't just Selena, AB, myself, and Ricky. There was an army of music. I mean, you had the rest of the band. You had Chris, Joe, Suzette, and of course, Ricky Vela also on arrangements. You had producers, you had engineers, you had Mr. Quintanilla.
Everybody giving their 2 cents in.
And that's the thing is, a lot of people, like I said, and I appreciate the credit. Believe me, I do. And I'm sure AB does too. And of course, Selena, rightfully so and well-deserved. But behind each song, dude, there's an army of people that had to put it together. So it's the unsung heroes, the people behind the scenes, the people that don't get the credit.
Right.
And there's so many of those people, man. I mean, that don't get the credit, and it's sometimes it's sad, man, because you gotta give credit where credit is due. And like, for example, nosotros los Dinos, we were a band. And I know Selena, of course, was our star, but that band, Ricky Vela, Joe, Chris, Suzette,
because they're monsters, bro.
But that works also for every band out there. And like I said, we were talking about David Lee, man. They're such a solid band, man. And the moment they hit a note, Jesus Christ, man. And I mean, Intocable, same thing. And Intocable, the same thing. People think, well, they're Tejano, they're not Tejano. Who cares? They're amazing, dude.
They're from Zapata, so Texas.
Son mis vecinos,
and I'm gonna love them because they're from Texas.
Dude, but they're amazing.
No, I mean, I love them. They're from Texas, but it just gives me more orgullo that somebody that awesome. We can claim them. It's like they're on our team.
They are
right. Like when you see a guy, hey, that guy's on my team. Like he's cool. You know what I mean? You should be proud of that. Yeah, exactly. Well, the show is Wacky, Pete, and we kind of jumped into that. But I really want to rewind a little bit, man. I want the people to know Pete Astudillo just sit here and told us that he doesn't play an instrument.
I don't. Hey, wait a minute.
But he went off because I brought it back up. There he goes.
But if you see me play that wheel, now I love to play the wheel. And the thing is, when I used to play with Selena, when I was with los Dinos, what can I do more, man? Because I wanted to do more. Because of course, they would give me a chance to sing a couple of songs, and I would go back and do background vocals, and I'd be dancing, and I'd be the hype guy. But what I want to do more is like, I'm gonna get a Guido, and I kind of did it, kind of playing around. And AB always makes fun of me because I think the first one I got was one of those old school ones, and it was like a pescado. I got it in Nuevo Laredo at the Mercado.
I was about to say you got it right here, Market Square.
I swear to God, I got it at the Mercado Nuevo Laredo.
Not even a music store.
No, que Hermes ni que nada. No, it was from the Mercado in Nuevo Laredo. It was the one that was the fish that looked like a fish, but it worked, man.
Where is it, Pete?
No, but I think it broke at some point. I think one of the roadies
just kind of chunked it.
But so in other words, I started playing that, and AB would always make jokingly with que Pete was the king of el rey del güiro and all these things. But it was, for me, it was just fun. But it's funny because I've seen some people it's an instrument that really is an instrument that people can play it at a high level.
Yeah.
And I
the
don't.
timing's got to be right, dude.
Yeah, I play it normalito. I play here for me, and I love doing it. But if you see some of these merengue,
the merengue and salsa, they get crazy. Well, last week we had DJ Kane here, and he taught us something. I mean, I don't know, Eddie. Eddie knows everything, so I don't know. But he said there's a Guido and there's a Huira. So the Huira is the metal one, I think.
No, the Guido, the Guido and the chiquito, the one they put up here, like a lot of the Colombianos use that.
Well, he's saying the metal and wood. Like one was a Guido, one was a Huira, or something like that.
DJ, what the heck you been doing, man?
It's coming from DJ K, so I don't know.
DJ, no, you know what? He could be right. I always thought the Huira, because there's like the real thin ones.
And they kind of hold it right here?
And they kind of hold it right here. And I always thought like the Guido was the traditional shape, when you play over here.
That's it. We're going to Google it. After the show, we're going to Google it. And we'll put it later in the comments. This is the Guido is this and the Guido is that. Eddie, don't do it. I know that's what you're trying to do right now. But Pete, you grew up, were you born here in Texas or you were born in Mexico?
Well, I was born in a mayonnaise farm. No, I was born.
I was about to say, a la madre. I didn't know there was a mayonnaise farm.
My family, like we were talking about earlier, my parents from Guerrero, Tuzantlan Guerrero, un ranchito. The American dream. My dad was a dreamer he was a dreamer. He was my hero, man. I love the man. My parents, of course, my mom también. The typical story. They got married extremely young, which is what you do in the rancho.
Yeah.
He came to work in the States with the Bracero program and stuff like that. So he got a feel of this country. He went back and got my mom and 3 of my siblings that had been born there. He brought them to Nuevo Laredo, which is the border with Laredo, Texas. And my other siblings were born there. And at that time, he started working on the the green cards. So when everybody had their green cards, he crossed over to Laredo, Texas, to un rancho que se llamaba Las Palmas. And that's where I was born. I was born in Laredo, but in a little ranchito outside of Laredo called Las Palmas.
And are you the baby, Pete, of the family?
I am the baby, man, and the first generation ever born in this country on both sides of my parents. They were the first, the first one born here. And like I said, I grew up in the ranch with my parents. And like any other family, my dad had no education, my mom either. My siblings, they were getting they were teenagers. So we started doing what a lot of families did back then and started going para el norte. Como decían, vamos para el norte a trabajar a la labor. And that's what we did. And since the moment I was born, literally, I think from the moment I was born.
Like Michigan, Ohio, those states?
I think the first time we went was to Wisconsin. I don't remember.
Shout out to Wisconsin, all our people. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You ever played at the Mexican Fiesta?
It's first is called Milwaukee. No, Go avoid that joke with that.
Hey, I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Let me correct myself.
No, but remember that the Wayne's World when they tried
Milwaukee.
something like that. Yeah, we did Milwaukee back in the day. I haven't been there in a long time, but para toda la raza de Milwaukee, un saludo. And next time you have your festival, give me a call.
There
man.
you go.
I'd love to go down there.
Pete would rock the stage up there in Milwaukee.
Pero
So,
no, people después from that area, then we started going to Montana and Wyoming to do beats.
damn, that's far.
And then from there, we would do 3 months in Montana and Wyoming, and then we would do 3 months in Idaho, a little place called Melba, Idaho, and we would do the potatoes. And then we would come back home for 6 months, go to school, la 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 la. Then my dad would go to work at the rancho, and then same thing next year.
Pete, do you watch movies?
A lot of movies, yeah, man.
Have you seen the movie of, and forgive me because I can't remember the name of it, but it's about our first Chicano astronaut?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, man. I've been wanting to see
You know what I'm talking about? So your story you just gave right now, is that like you're literally painting the first 30 minutes of that movie right there.
Dude.
Of just like, hey, let's go. We got to work. And boom, they're gone. They're trying to do school. And the kid was just, the one teacher just finally realized like, hey man, this kid is super smart. And the way y'all work and move, he's never in somewhere in enough time to get settled in and make worth of his brains. You know what I mean? So she finally went to the dad. I don't want to ruin it for you. No. Yeah. So she goes to the dad and finally tells the dad like, hey man, you have a very smart son here, and sometimes when you grow and you pick plants, right? And the man's like, yeah. He goes, well, what happens when you pick a plant and you take out of the roots, it doesn't grow. It doesn't, right? Because you're always unrooting it, right? You're taking it out. But if you plant something and you put the roots, it's going to stay strong. It's going to go strong. And so she said it, and he absorbed it. He got in the vehicle and absorbed it. Like, man, here I am uprooting my family, right, to eat, but we're uprooting. Maybe I can find something else to do to make a living where I can root my family and let the roots grow, so that way they'll be able to grow and become whatever. Well, lo and behold, the guy becomes an astronaut. And the crazy thing was, again, just going back to your opening song that we played here on the show, he never forgot his roots. Wow. He never forgot where he came from. And for us, we don't. It's sad to say in a way, but we don't have a lot of those things where we can look at our little chicarito kids and be like, "Hey, you could be an astronaut. Look, we got them. You're not seeing the same race all the time, doing the same thing. We actually have somebody that we can kind of looked up to." So, hearing your story, that's that thing. I don't mean to go on another. It's Wacky Wednesday, but
I want to see that movie.
Now you're gonna see it. You're gonna be like, Bumper was right, in the first story. You seen it, Eddie?
Yeah.
Right? Am I off? Like it's an awesome movie.
It's funny because I haven't seen the movie, but ironically, not too long ago, somebody was telling me about the movie, and I swear to God, they go like, the new song you have. That would have been perfect for that movie.
That would have been perfect. That would have been with your connections in Hollywood, P. What's going down?
J-Lo, give me a call. No, but that's what we did, and man, that's a great example with the roots and all that. It's an awesome example. But at the same time, necessity, man. My dad had no education, and my mom either. And of course, back, we were all the kids. We put them all to work together as a family unit, and that's how we made money. And it worked for us, it worked for us. But it was, you're right about the uprooting, because llegaba el tiempo that we had to take you out of school. They would take you out of school, and I would have to finish school in a different state. And then I would start school at another
and
state.
New friends and new friends.
But some of the experiences were kind of cool, man. I got to see so much at such a young age and travel so much. But it was a lot of work, man. It was a lot of work, I didn't work as much as my siblings because I'm the younger one. And by the time I started doing it, we quit several years after. But I still got to work in the fields, man.
But it was enough for you to be grateful for what you have today.
Heck yeah, man. Dude,
I just had this conversation over breakfast with my good friend Chris. Shout out to Chris Medina, and we were talking about that. Like, hey, man, sometimes I think the generation nowadays they don't really know. Not that I picked anything, but they don't really know how good they have it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't know the hard work it took to get to where we're at today.
And the thing is, and going back to my song, is like sometimes we don't know, and because we're second, third, fourth, fifth generation, and you get the nice house, and you went to school, and going to school is normal, and going to college is normal, and doing this is normal, but somebody down the line, dude, worked their ass off for you to do all of that.
For you to do
and
that.
That's why, in my case, I'm the first born here in this country, so I got to live it with my family, and I'm seeing both sides of the coin, los dos lados de la moneda. I worked in the fields, but I went from the fields to some of the biggest stages in this world, man. And be performing with Selena, and then do a movie with J-Lo. So I'm seeing like, man, what a contrast my life has been. I was working in the fields.
This little kid from Laredo, Texas, bro.
A little Mexican from South Texas, del puro 956. Aquí anda todavía haciendo ruido.
Still doing your thing. Pete, so again, bouncing back, when did you know that you could sing?
I think I knew from a very young age, because but it was very private. The only time I would kind of belt it out or like really go bananas was in church. Because, we would go to church and everybody's singing, so I'd join in, and it brought me joy.
Y la gente, a la madre.
Pero no, pues éramos muchos, no me escuchaban. But we would always, we would play games also when we were kids, with my siblings, we'd do kind of like a game show host. One of my brothers was a game show host that he would make us sing or do little skits, and I always wanted to sing. But I was super young, so I had a really shrilly little voice. Mm-hmm. But I loved doing it, and I remember from a very young age writing little poems, for my mom and stuff like that.
That's wild, man.
But I didn't have any way to really grow it or blossom it or whatever you want to call it, because that wasn't part of. I didn't. So
nobody in the family was a musician. Like a lot of people we have on here, their families, like either their dad or somebody put a guitar in their hand, like, hey, practice it. You know what I mean? Like those are the stories you hear a lot of. But for you to have no musical background, you know what I mean? What was the first thing? What was the first band that you got into where you were singing in front of people?
Well, I'm telling you, church. The church when we were migrant workers. My dad was very involved with the church, and we met other families that were also migrant workers. So sometimes we would have mass at our homes because maybe sometimes we didn't have time to go to church.
Right.
So the church community, I don't even know how it started, but some priests started going to our house and holding masses and for other farm workers, porque a veces no podíamos ir. And of course, we would sing there, and sometimes the priest would pull out a guitar, and we start singing it. So I kind of started noticing that I really found joy in it. And I remember one time, even at some point, they made us get up, and my family, they made us get up and sing in church because they said we were this singing migrant family or something. And I don't even know how that came to be either. And we were there singing in front of the church, and I was enjoying every second of it, and of course my siblings too, my parents. But of course we had no inclination of thinking that's a career or that's something you could actually do. We were just having fun. It was part of the church. It was part of bonding with the other migrant families and the priests that would come in to our homes and the nuns and just kind of and
then from there, like, when you were in school, did you start a band, or how did you get into Tejano?
Honestly to God, I had a really normal life. When junior high school, I went to Nixon, ahí en Laredo, Texas, puro Nixon, puro 956.
Puro 956.
Puro 956. So I had a really normal childhood, and a couple of buddies of mine had high school bands, but I never got into it. I was really shy about it. I was very insecure about it, very shy. I never did anything. I graduated from high school. It's when in 76, 77, we stopped going para el norte, como le dicen, a las labores. And my oldest brother, Rogelio, had gotten into the restaurant business and started working in different restaurants and, as a cook, as a lavaplatos, everything. And he built himself up to know the business to the point that he started working for a really, really nice hotel. It's still there in Laredo, La Posada. And he became the chef there. Wow. So at that point, he stopped going with us Pal Norte because he told my dad, no, I got a good job. I'm going to stay. You'll do your thing.
Yeah.
So one year, he told him, you know what? I already learned a lot about the restaurant business. He goes, how about we put what, you take the whole family to work over there. It's a unit thing. That's how you get it done faster. That's how you make more money because you're working as a family. That's a family unit. He goes, how about we apply that, but to a restaurant? And my dad like, no, what the hell are we doing about restaurants? He goes, well, I know a little bit. I'm learning, I've learned the ropes. And he didn't convince him the first year, but the following year, and I think it was 76, 77, he convinced him, and we opened up a little restaurant in Laredo. It was called El Safari.
El Safari.
El Safari, like a safari.
Yeah.
¿Cómo es? El Safari. It wasn't the safari. It was Safari.
It's not El Safari, dude. It's El Safari.
If that showed, that diners, drive-ins, and dives existed back then,
it would have been there.
We were the ultimate dive, raza, rascuache place.
Rascuache,
but the thing is, it took us about a year to get it rolling, but once it got rolling, man, because my brother was learning high-end stuff where he worked, right. And he kind of incorporated to the raza food, like not raza food, but like to the regular food per se.
Got you.
So he would put a little of his techniques into the normal dishes, and people started noticing it. And next thing you know, we had a really successful little dive.
Restaurant, yeah.
And we did that from 76. And like I said, all the family got involved. I was washing dishes.
It was a family business.
Yeah, it was a family. Mis hermanos eran meseras. Mi papá y mi mamá eran cocineros. And it grew and grew to the point that, okay, now we need employees because it's really getting good. Yep. And from there, we opened up a second restaurant, also there in Laredo, and we call it after my dad. My dad's name is Pedro, just like myself. It was Don Pedro's. And I continued doing that, and that was through high school. Then I went to college, a couple of years in Laredo Junior College. And at that point, my brother, another brother of mine, Javier, I call him El Gordo, he goes, hey, let's open up a restaurant in Colorado, because we were familiar with the area because we used to work over there. In
Colorado.
And one of my brothers stayed living over there, Alex. So he said, dude, if you all come and put a restaurant over here, you're going to make a killing, man, because,
the gringos don't know about good Mexican food, yeah.
So we went over there and opened up a restaurant, and this was like in 1984. So I was like 20 years old, man, I think. And I went up in a restaurant with my brother over there. And we did really well. But at that time is when I started saying, man, if I'm going to do anything with this music thing, I have to do it now. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I was already 20 years old. And I was there for 2 years. And then that's when my brother, and I felt horrible. He could do that thing. I need to go back to Texas. He goes, why? Yeah, I want to give this music thing a shot. I goes, what music thing?
Wow. We got a restaurant to run here.
What music thing?
We got a restaurant to run right here.
Yes, exactly. And I started doing like little local, singing competitions. And I started winning. So I started getting a little confident. So bottom line, I came back to Texas. I got back in college, started taking a couple of music courses. Like there was a stage band course that would teach you how to be part of a band and to sing with other musicians.
Wow, I didn't know they have classes like that. Yeah, that's awesome,
it was called
man.
stage band. And then the man, Mr. Compian, my teacher from back then, when he heard me sing, he was like, dude, you can sing, man. He goes, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, you really can sing. He goes, I want to introduce you to Miss Prophet, who is the voice teacher. He goes, really? He goes, you want to introduce me to her? He goes, yeah. He goes, I think you should take a class with her. I go, okay. So he takes me up to her office and he goes, okay, sing something for her. And I sang, I don't even know what the heck I sang for her. But she's like, oh my God, I want you in my class. He goes, you have to take my class. So I started taking voice lessons from her. And I started getting involved with theater. Because she told me, you know what? You need to get involved with anything and everything that has to do with singing. He goes, because she didn't know what I wanted to do, and neither did I. But she goes, you got to do theater. If you can go to church, you can sing at church. If somebody wants to hire you to do this, you do that.
Yeah.
So I just got involved with anything and everything. I started doing local theater. I think I even sang at a couple of funerals, man. Weddings, funerals, you name it.
Man, that's got to be an awkward call. Hey, Pete, what are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. Yeah, I need you at my tia's funeral. Can you sing a couple of
Compadre, I
songs?
swear to God, it's the truth. And at that time, that's when I met this young man named Joe Ojeda.
Uh-huh.
And that's where my I want to say the real introduction into what I have become started. Joe was a keyboard player that was trying to get a band. They're in Laredo. And I met him through a mutual friend. And just in conversation, this friend of mine goes like, oh, this guy Joe Ojeda, he's a keyboard player. He sounds pretty good. He goes, because maybe I think he's looking for a singer. Maybe you all should meet. So we met and we really connected immediately. And he was already forming a band on his own. He already had, as a matter of fact, when I met him, they were rehearsing in his garage. And I walked in and he told the guys, yeah, I need to talk to this guy. So they kind of stopped their rehearsal. So after that first meeting, I sang a couple of songs with him and he kind of let the band go. and we decided to do something, just him and I. And that's how we became the Bad Boys. Right out.
Wow. So you let the band go and just you and him then.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny because
and P, you already, I mean, it was Tejano, right? I mean, he was doing Tejano
he was doing Tejano. And I'm gonna say this is the truth. I really wasn't into Tejano at that time, and I was, I'm rock and roll.
I'm thinking with the Mexican parents, you probably were, more on the regional Mexican side, or mariachi, or Jose Alfredo Jimenez. I
had all the influence from my siblings, and my parents. Of course, my dad was mariachi, Jose Alfredo, like you said, and of course banda, because from where we're from or where they're from,
banda's king.
Banda is king, but they didn't call it banda; they call it tamborazo. Because that's what they play at la corrida de toros. But really unrefined. What you hear now is really refined version of what that was. And that's what my dad grew up with. And that's what I listened to a little bit, because that's what and of course what my mom liked. And they liked, they liked Vicente Fernandez, Jose Alfredo. And then my siblings, my older siblings were into cumbias. And they were like into Rigo Tobar. And that type of Renacimiento 74 and all that. So I kind of had also that ear, but I was rock and roll, man. I was listening to Kiss
the Kiss and the 80s rock.
Yeah, man, all the 80s and 70s,
Why that's where you get the long hair style from?
I think that's where my inner rocker comes from, I think. Yeah, I think, a lot of us músicos, cantantes, músicos in this onda, we're all frustrated rockers, man. To be honest.
But at the same time, like I'm looking at you, and you're telling me these stories, or telling me, the rock thing in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, that's hard for me to believe, because Pete was one hell of a damn cumbia dancer. So what the hell you learn how to dance?
No, but I'm telling you,
like that, but to rock and roll.
When we go to Mexico for the holidays, allá to Santana, Guerrero. The little house party, and
that's where you learn.
Grandma and Grandpa. And I've always loved to dance. That's the thing. I love to dance. But you do that.
Right.
The cumbias and the rancheras and all that. But when I would listen to music on my own, what I like rock and roll, And even today, I mean, I still love rock and roll. I mean, 80s, 90s rock, 2000, But anything rock and roll. But now I do have a passion for cumbia. And actually, I gotta give Joe credit for introducing me to Tejano a little bit more, because I knew about La Mafia. I knew about Selena at the time too. I knew about Mas, Little Joe. But aside from that, I really didn't know, because I'm from La Frontera.
You're Frontera, so.
But I was listening to rock and roll, and when I met up with Joe and we did the Bad Boys, I just wanted to, and also I love Jose, which is kind of crazy, because that's like my idol. And I always wanted to sing like him. So when I started rehearsing with him, I just wanted to learn Jose songs, like, okay, let's do Jose, Gaudilaro Paloma, stuff like that. But, and it got to a point like, you know what? If we're going to start working, because we need to learn some cumbias and something a little bit more upbeat, because people are going to want to dance.
Yeah. They're not going to just want to sit there and listen to you sing.
So that's when we started incorporating, and like that's what I'm saying, I'm giving him credit for introducing me more into Tejano, because he was hardcore. I mean, hardcore Tejano.
Wow.
And of course, then Ram Herrera came along, which I thought, the first time I heard Amor Querido, like, whoa, no, yeah, that's cool. I like that. And then, I can't remember his name right now. Fíjate.
David Mares?
David Mares. And I heard David Mares like, whoa, man, these singers are in this market? And then he goes, yeah, fíjate, like, Amor Querido. And then, of course, I remember hearing Emilio when he was at David Lee. Like, wow, man.
So
it opened up my eyes.
You opened up your eyes and you were growing to embrace the Tejano, the Tejano culture.
I never rejected the Tejano. The thing is, I just wasn't into it.
Yeah. You weren't taught that.
Yeah.
You weren't taught that. But speaking of long hair, ladies and gentlemen, a great sponsor of Bumpers Wacky Wednesday is our good friend, Mr. Ricky Ray, the realtor. The dude is an awesome vibe. He has the coolest hair next to Pete Astudillo, of course, right? But, man, if you guys are looking to buy or sell a house, you want to learn about credit, hit up Ricky Ray at 956-424-5724, and he'll be sure to help you out. Then, of course, after you buy your house, you got to protect it, Pete, right?
You got to protect it.
So why not get protected by one of the best home security systems in the country? You know, Vivint Smart Home, our good friend, Miss Di Marie, the beautiful and lovely Di Marie, new female vocalist of the year, 2023 TTMA winner. She could come over to your house and she can help you secure your home. And
Sing a song.
Right, she'll sing a song, and if you're lucky, she even put some solar panels on your house if you're interested in that. So hit her up, 210-837-8623. And then of course, a guy who's just been really special to Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, especially, I'm a veteran. I love to help out veterans. And what better way to help out veterans than, maybe be able to put a little more extra money in their pocket and a sense of disability. So if you're a veteran out there, you just got out, you don't know how the VA system works. Maybe you've been stuck at a certain percentage and you think you deserve more. Hit up my buddy, retired Sergeant Major Oscar Ornelas at 951-388-4072. That's 951-388-4072. Let him know Bumpers Wacky Wednesday sent you, and he will take care of you. And of course, our good friends. You like carnitas?
Compadre.
Woo!
Who doesn't like carnitas?
You want some good carnitas Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Seguin, Texas. Make sure you go by the Matador Market, 945 South Austin Street, and go check out our good friends at Carnitas Urapan. Let them know Bumper sent you, and he'll give you an extra taco or something. Dile, that's what I said. And then, of course, for all my small businesses out there or artists who are watching the show, maybe you've dreamed of having caps, T-shirts with your logo or your group name on there. If that's something you're doing, hit up my good friend Gilbert Alaman, the Gibster, 832-546-5856, and he will take care of you. And then again, April 5th through the 8th, in your neck of the April 5th through the 8th, South Texas is the epicenter of the world because of the total solar eclipse that's going to happen.
Oh, wow.
You can't get a hotel. In Que es del Rio, Uvalde, Eagle, all that area right there, that's going to be that's like, there's different spots you can be for the angle, whatever. That's going to give you the total fullness of a full lunar eclipse. So they're having festivals and all kinds of stuff. So the city of Del Rio, our good friends at Brown Plaza Associates, they're going to have Grupo Vidal on Friday. If you guys never seen Grupo Vidal, you guys don't, they're the best, they're one of the best kept secrets in La Onda Tejana. All weekend, all kinds of stuff on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure you guys go out there. Del Rio, Texas, April 5th to the 8th, the Solar Eclipse Fest. Make sure you guys go out there and check it out. And speaking of festivals, and Pete just brought him up, Mafia Mania coming your way, brought to you by our good friend Jim Luna, right? Jim Luna and Quarter Moon Productions in Pearland, Texas. It's happening April 27th, hosted by yours truly, Bumper Gomez. We're going to have La Mafia, David Lee Garza Los Musicales, Marcos Orozco, Mike Gonzalez and the Iconics. ¿Qué más quieres? You know what I mean? So come on out. April 27th, make sure you get your tickets. It's going to be a show you do not want to miss. And then, of course, my good friend, Mr. Frank Salazar, everybody in the Victoria, Texas area, the Memorial Weekend Bash, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of nothing but amazing Tejano, Norteño, Conjunto, whatever you want to call it. Our music is going to be on display. at that Memorial Weekend in Victoria, Texas. Shout out to Salazar Promotions, La Mafia, Duelo, Signo, Musicales, Elida Reina, Jennifer Pena, Jay Perez, Iconics, Lucky Joe, Eric Imasore. Like, those are just to name a few. There's a whole many more bands. So make sure you guys get ready. Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be amazing. And then again, in Beeville, Texas, my hometown, sponsored by Music Brothers Entertainment, right? April, I want to say it's the 6th. Yes, April 6th. Indomable from Skidmore, Texas, and Los Desperados are going to be in the house at MG Grill. So make sure you guys go by there and check it out. And then, of course, I want to give an invite. Before I talk about it, I want to give an invite to Pete. I know you live in Laredo, and it's kind of a hard thing to come to San Antonio. But if you're not doing anything on March 27th, is going to be a day that's going to go. It's going to be unforgettable in Bumpers Wacky Wednesday history. It's going to be our fourth annual anniversary show, and it's going to be held at Little Woodrow's here in San Antonio, and it's going to be Mike Gonzalez and Iconics. We're going to do a regular Bumpers Wacky Wednesday interview. They're going to jam. We're going to have for the very first time a live audience in the 210. We're going to have a brand new live audience. We're going to have a live audience, and it's going to be amazing, man.
It's brand new,
brand spanking new. But you guys, it's going to be a good time. I've already had a lot of artists that already have hit me up. It's like, Bump, we're going to be there. So that means a lot to me to see the Onda, our Tejano artists supporting the show, and they're going to support me on that special day. That means a lot to me on 4 years of bringing Bumpers Wacky Wednesday to the airwaves, and we're going to be able to do it with the live audience. So it's going to be.
Si puedo, Dios me da licencia, I'll be there, man.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I really hope you could make it. So guys, put that on your calendar. March 27th at 8:00 from Little Woodrow's on Babcock. It's going to be a good time. We good, Eddie?
We're good.
All right, man.
There's a lot of parties going on.
Hey,
man.
puro parties, bato. Hey, so people don't say I'm not supporting the Onda. Hey, if you got something going on, I want to let the people know about it so they can go out there and support.
That's great entertainment, great lineups.
No,
a
lot
of from Victoria to Del Rio to Eagle Pass to Beeville.
Yes, sir. And Pete, going back to Pete Astudillo, remember I told you, I want people to know Pete Astudillo.
Dime tu pregunta.
So you were with the Bad Boys, right?
Yeah.
The Bad Boys, and how long were y'all?
Well, we started the Bad Boys, like I said, I want to say about 85. That's when we met, and like I said, we started rehearsing. Like I said, we went through a little trial and error. Like I said, I wanted to do Jose songs all night, and like I said, Joe introduced me more into the Tejano scene, and I think we had learned about 10 songs, and. Dude, I tell everybody that we were one of the best rehearsed bands with no gigs. We would literally rehearse almost every day.
You're ready to rock and roll.
We were ready to
call
rock.
us.
We were like pumped, man. And the first gig we got, my dad being my dad, and actually my dad was kind of macho también. Like, he wouldn't tell me to my face, but anybody else, he would brag.
But to you, that was an awesome job.
So I remember one day my neighbor that lived right in front of us, she came up to me and she goes, "Hey, your dad told me you had a band." Like, well, no, it's been more like a duet. We're just kind of getting things started and stuff like this. He goes, I'm getting married. And my dad said, your dad said that you probably could play at my wedding. And I, wait a minute. Like, no, like, we're just really getting started. And he goes, well, the restaurant that we had, it says, como eran compadres, my dad said, you know what, you can do the reception there at the restaurant. Se los prestó. So he goes, but maybe we were thinking maybe you could play for the wedding. And I really don't think we can, but he goes, no, I think you can do it.
No, que well rehearsed.
But this is the first time we've ever been approached to perform. And I remember calling Joe, and I go like, hey, they want to hire us for a wedding. He goes, really? He goes, who? He goes, my neighbor. He goes, should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. Do you think so? He goes, yeah, man, we'll do it. So without even thinking too much about it, I said, Yeah, you know what? I guess we can do it. When is it? Okay, give me the date. And he goes, it's going to be 3 hours. Like,
how are you going to get 3 hours of music?
And I go,
Hey, Joe.
Yes, exactly. And I remember, okay, he goes, well, how much do you charge me? And like, I'll get back to you. So I called Joe again, like, dude, how much do we charge? You know, we didn't know anything. Dude, we were greener than green. Both
A 12-pack of beer and 5 hot dogs.
So I think we settled on $50 an hour. So we charged $150, and we were supposed to play for 3 hours, and we knew 10 songs. Dude, I think we did that set, like the long version, the solo version. We did it about 3 times, but after,
really?
Yes, we would finish the set. Hey, we're going back to the same song again. And this time with a keyboard solo. And of course, it was, to make it worse, it's just him and I, because he had like these little rhythm boxes, like from Radio Shack. Little Casio keyboard. Our equipment was horrible, but he made it work, man. He made it work. We were kind of like the Dudes on a budget. Remember the band, the Dudes? But the Dudes were amazing, man. We were like the Dudes on a really bad budget with no experience.
Yeah.
But bottom line, man, we made it work. Everybody was happy. Man. And that was the beginning of our career. And what also helped, again, back to my roots, my brother had his own restaurant at the time, another restaurant, and he had a catering service. So I went and talked to him, my brother Rogelio, and he goes, do you know what? He goes, let me hear you guys. And we sat up there and went in one of his little reception halls. He goes, y'all sound good, man. You sound good. You know what? When I get a couple or a party and they don't have a big budget, I'm going to recommend you guys.
They're going to add you to the package.
Kind of, sort of. He goes, so like, okay, you don't got money for a band? I got these guys, you know, for $150. You want them? So that's kind of how we started playing. We started doing a lot of gigs at my brother's restaurant.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. Can you imagine, like, stop to think, if you played for somebody's wedding, Pete Astudillo paid for my wedding. This is years before you're Pete Astudillo. Somebody can say, dude, and he paid at my wedding, you know what I mean?
I've had at least 3 or 4 couples through the years that come up to me, one not too long ago, and they're like, you played at our wedding, and they were like so excited to want to take pictures. Oh my God, they weren't so excited that I was with Selena Ludina. No, they were excited that I played at their wedding. And that was the important thing. But I've had at least 3 or 4 couples or people that said, you played at our party, man, our company party, or you played in our backyard. So bottom line, dude, we started playing everywhere and anywhere, and a lot of the work was with my brother. He got us a lot of work, but then we started getting a little party, a little word of mouth. We were cheap, we were good, we made a lot of noise for 2 guys, and we get hired to play at a pulga. Ahí en Laredo, it was a small little pulga. They hired us to play there, and we had a little setup, and it was hot, one of those hot Laredo days. 110 degrees. Lamina's over us. She's like really baking us in there. And we're doing our little set, Joe and I. And I think it was just my grandma and his grandma and my mom and his mom watching us.
Exactly.
You there, man? So we're there and we're like doing our thing, and of course nobody's watching us. Just but our parent, my mom, and not even my dad went or his dad. It was just the moms and the grandmas. So when we finished our first set, I started walking around the pulga just to check it out. You know, we're killing time, and they were doing a live remote, a radio remote. Mm-hmm. And the guy that was doing the remote is a guy which a lot of people know now. His name is that Bird, El Locutor.
Oh, Locutor. Yeah. Dude, for me, he's one of my, like, not an idol, but he's somebody I look up to in the business, in the Tejano world.
One of the greatest voices.
Writers, like, just everything about him. Yeah.
His voice, this whole, I mean, just whole.
This whole Bird, yeah.
So he's there doing the aquí estamos en la pulga, vengan aquí, vengan aquí, la, and he's doing his thing, and he sees me from a distance. We weren't good friends. We knew each other because it's Laredo, it's not that big. So, and of course, like I said, my brother had the restaurant.
Yeah.
So he he gets off the air. He goes, ¿Qué onda, Pete? ¿Cómo estás? Le digo, bien, bien. He goes, ¿Qué? You shopping? Le dije, no, man, we're doing a little thing here. He goes, what do you do? Le dije, I sing. He goes, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, we got a little duet thing. I explained the whole thing. He goes, you going to play again? Le dije, yes, I'm going to play again. He goes, I'll go check you out right now. So we went and did our thing again, and he went by him, and he looked at us, and he was there for about 15 minutes checking us out. And then when we finished, he came up to us. He goes, dude, you guys sound really good, man. He goes, you guys are
With just a keyboard and vocals.
Yeah. He goes, you make a lot of noise for two guys. He goes, you got a good voice, Pete. He goes, you got a really good voice. He gets really serious.
Yeah.
He goes, oye, ¿y por qué no tocas en los bailes? ¿Y por qué no tocas en los clubs? He goes, why aren't you playing anywhere? He goes, because I told him, I'm just kind of doing little parties, and my brother, and he knew my brother. He goes, a toda madre. He goes, but why don't you do the bailes? He goes, Bert, I already offered myself to literally everybody in this town, and literally for free, and they won't hire us. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I went to this club. Yep. This club, yep. This club, yep. This salon, yep. I offered myself for free. But nobody, no es que nadie los conoce. Nobody knows you guys. It's only two of you. What can you do? And we just didn't make a very good impression. And he goes, but you guys are really good, man. He goes, you guys are really, really good. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to help you out. And at the time, he used to be the DJ of a club in Laredo called the Roxy's, which was a night. It was a disco because this was the 80s,
mid 80s.
But mid 80s, yeah. So sure enough, but at the disco they would have Tejano Tuesdays. So on Tuesday they would bring in Tejano bands, and he goes, you know what? Next time they do a Tejano Tuesday, I'm gonna try to bring you in. He goes, really? He goes, yeah, I'll try to bring you in. So sure enough, he calls me one day and he goes, dude, we got a cancellation. Are you in? Le dije, dude, let's do it. He goes, there's no pay, man. This is just for exposure. Le dije, ya empezaste mal. No. So, dude, you know when they say when it's just for exposure, you know what's coming.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
of course, no, but I'm kidding, man. We were like over the moon. Like, are you serious? They want us to play? He goes, yeah. He goes, no, but it's exposure. Like, no, but I don't care, man. He goes, well, I just want to get heard.
Yeah.
So we went and performed that night. And it was a slow night because the band that was supposed to be there, a known band, I don't know who it was, canceled. So you had a lot of the barflies, a lot of the hardcore, and of course my mom and Joe's mom. But we made a really good impression on the owners of the place. And we finished playing that night, and they thanked us and gave us a couple of drinks, and the Bird's talking to the manager of the place. He goes, you know what? We need to bring them in when there's a good band playing so they'll get that exposure they need. And so Bird wasn't really like working as a manager or anything. He was just being a camarada.
He's just being a camarada, yeah.
So sure enough, man, pasó el tiempo, and he calls me. He goes, hey, dude, are you guys available for this Tuesday? Yeah. He goes, we got Selena coming in. He goes, you want to open up for Selena? And they go, heck yeah, man. We'll open up for Selena, yeah. He goes, it's for exposure, man. Like, yeah, I know it's for exposure.
Again, another exposure.
He goes, yeah, but she comes in and she does really well. He goes, no, I know. I mean, I know she is. I'm not really like hardcore fan or know too much about her.
Yeah, but you know who she is.
Of course,
yeah.
and she did well in Laredo. So sure enough, man, we went in and the whole story of how we met and everything's too long, but bottom line, we went and we were supposed to open up for her. But when we were going to open up for her, nos dijeron, you know what? I don't think you guys are going to play, man, because they don't want you to play. And I go, who's they? He goes, well, they're kind of scared that you guys are going to sound horrible because it's only two of you. He goes, dude. So then the Bird kind of interacted and jumped in. He goes, you know what? I've heard these guys. They're really good. So he talked to some people. Like, no te la quiero ser muy larga. And he convinced his people to say, you know what? They're not going to open up the show. Selena's going to come on. After Selena gets off, they have 15 minutes. So they better be ready. Jump on stage, do your thing. So we're about to get on stage. And Bird goes like, no, dude. Selena's coming on. After she comes on, he goes, you guys jump on stage, man. And just jump on stage. And the thing is, we didn't want to interrupt their stage.
Right.
So there was a tiny little stage in front of their stage, which was more like for people would dance.
Yeah.
So that's where we set up. So he goes, the moment she stops,
Y'all better be ready to go.
So sure enough, man, they stop playing. We're there on the side. We get up there, we do our thing. And of course, at that time, we're doing the popular stuff. I think Juana la Cubana was popular and stuff like that. So man, we got the people rolling, man. And according to los Dinos now, to AB and all them, we talked about this later on. And when we got on, they started going outside to go to the bus. And when they were walking out, they heard us. They're like, that can't be them. That's what they tell us now. He's like, no. He goes, that's the DJ. And no, it's not the DJ, man. That's somebody live. So they went back in, and there was the second floor where the offices were. And they went up there and saw our set. And as a matter of fact, they told Bert, hey, tell him to play longer. So they let us play longer. So that night when we finished, we got off and we took our little speakers out, our little rinky-dinky equipment. At the end of the night, when we were wrapping up everything else that was still left there, AB comes back in, and then I think Ricky, and he goes, hey, dude, y'all sound good, man. Y'all sound really cool, man. He goes, oh, thanks, man. And I think I'm pretty sure Suzette and Selena came like, hey, y'all guys sounded really good. And you're like freaking out, man. But then Abraham walks in, and he was, what's your name, son? And like, I'm Pete. And who does your bookings? There's no bookings, man. Who's
Ramiro Rams.
Who's your manager? There's no manager. There's no booking. He goes, just Joe and I. He goes, okay. He goes, yeah. You want to work? Yeah, I love to work. And he gives me a card. He goes, call me, and we'll talk. And that's how it began right there.
Wow. So you started opening up for Selena.
I called him that Monday because he called me. I remember he said, call me Monday, because this was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I called him the following Monday. I guess they had to work the weekend.
Yeah.
So le hablé, and we talked a little bit, and he de volada, man, he gave me like the, you know what, if you're going to work with us, you can't do this, you can't be drinking, you can't be doing this. And like, well, I didn't even know I was working yet.
Wow.
So he threw me all of that, de volada, which I appreciated. And actually, I ran our little group kind of the same way. And he goes, you know what, I want to hire you to open up for Selena. Because I'm down. I'm pretty sure Joe is down too. And he goes,
but it can't just be for exposure.
No, it can't be just for exposure this time. No, I didn't even ask him about money. I was just like freaking out, man, that somebody would be interested in us. And a band like Selena, because like I said, she did really well at that time in Laredo. She was already known. I mean, and they were a great band. And for them to want us to be part of their little tour or open up for them was amazing. So, yeah, man, we didn't even ask how much they were going to pay us, anything.
I mean, why would you? I mean, just the fact that you're going to get more than exposure.
Yeah.
You're going to get at least $1 makes it, I'm just saying $1, but you were going to make some money. And Pete, just to fast forward, do you remember the day when they came to say, hey, Pete, you know what? We want to add you to the Dinos.
Yeah, I do, man. I remember the first gig we did. The first gig we did as an opening act was in Robstown, Texas. Robstown. and I remember, I mean, some things, it's been a long time, but there's some things that never fade. We got to Robstown in my brother's catering van, Joe and I with some bologna sandwiches and stuff, we're ready to go. So we get to Robstown. I mean, besides going through Robstown to go to maybe to Corpus, I had never been in Robstown,
You never been to that part of part of.
You cross Robstown to go to Corpus. And that's it.
Yeah.
But I had never veered to other streets.
Yeah.
So where the hell is this place at? We were looking. It was got the High Chaparral, I think.
Yeah, the High Chaparral. That's the Robstown.
That's where we're supposed to go. And we were lost, man. We couldn't find the High Chaparral. And of course, being lost, we got there later than the time that Abraham told us to be there. And man, he let us have it. He goes, what happened? We got lost. How the hell you get lost in Robstown? Even when you never been to a place, it's easy to get lost, no matter how small it is.
Hell yeah.
So we ended up, otra vez, not on the wrong, we started off on the wrong foot again. So we get there and he starts telling us, well, you guys are going to go on at this time and this and that. And this was our first gig with Selena Los Dinos as an opening act. So he tells us everything and be ready to go this, be ready to do this. And we're ready. We're in their little van, ready for the show. And, 6 o'clock comes around and 7 o'clock comes around and 8 o'clock comes around. Like, no cars, man. Nada. Like, and I would look at Joe like, I guess it's a late crowd here, man. I guess so, man. So we kept looking at each other. And sure enough, man, Abraham comes knocking at the van. He goes, okay, guys, let's go. And I'm like, we're going to play? He goes, yeah, that's what I hired you for. And I think I said, but there's nobody here. And if that doesn't matter to you, I hired you to play, you're going to play. And sure enough, he was right. Obviously, he hired us. That's not my place to be saying if there's people or not. That was dumb of me.
So no llegó la tía or your mom or Joe's mom didn't show up.
My
No,
mom
nobody
didn't.
showed up.
No, this is an out-of-town gig. They weren't going to invest that much time in us. So sure enough, man, we get up there and we performed. We did our set, probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. And there was about, once again, it's a long time ago, there's about 20, 30 people there, man. 20, 30 people. And that place is not small, man.
No, it's a big place. Yeah.
There's about 20, 30 people. And we did our thing. We were excited to be there, man.
Yeah.
We were excited to be there. So we played like, man, we were the Super Bowl. So we finished our set. We go back into our van. And I remember telling Jolie, I think they're going to cancel, man, because pues, no hay nadie. And he was, I don't know, man. We were kind of freaking out, man, because like, what's going on? This is kind of weird,
Yeah.
So sure enough, man, we were sitting there in their van and we just seeing them starting to get off the bus, todos vestidos, in their performing outfits. And, we get off our van and we follow him in and they get up and started the show, man.
And same amount of people stood in there?
Yeah, man. And they started the show and put on a show and performed once again like it was the Super Bowl, man. And I was on the sides. Both of us were on like, what the heck is going on here, man? And it was like, in reality, it was the reality check that both of us didn't even realize. Like, we just remember Laredo being packed. That's in my head. That's what it was going to be, Laredo everywhere. And then we thought, well, Corpus is about 20 minutes away. It's going to be packed.
It's her hometown?
Yeah, it's her hometown. Man, and there was about 30 people, man. But they played like, and it was a really good lesson to me, a reality check. And it also showed me their work ethic, the respect for the audience, the respect for the work, the ser de palabra. You went there, put a show on, they put a show on, no matter who was there. And that day, I remember it. That's why I remember it so vividly, because like, wow, man, there's a lot more to this business than I thought.
Yeah.
And then from there, of course, we started doing more shows with them, and some were bad, some were a little bit better, and they progressively started getting better. But this was in 88, summer of 88. And it was in Christmas of 88, we were playing in Midland, Texas at the Crown Royal or the Royal Crown, something like that. Mm-hmm. It's still there, I think. And we did the same thing. We did our show, and that time, that show was really good. It was a really great crowd, really great place. And the night ended, and we were picking up the equipment and stuff and helping out with the, roadies and all that. But we were the roadies. There was no roadies. And I remember AB comes up to me like, hey, Joe, Pete, I need to talk to you guys. And I go, man, what do we do now? So he took us into the restroom and he just started talking to us like, you guys are cool, man? You guys are happy? What do you like? You like the band? You like the atmosphere? Just started asking us stuff.
Abraham or AB?
AB. And I go like, no, man, it's great, man. This is awesome. Like, this is like a dream come true for us. And he goes, this is amazing. You guys are amazing. Touring with you guys is amazing. Everything's amazing. And he goes like, well, how about, would you guys like to join our band? And I like, what do you mean, like us? Be part of your band? He goes, yeah, be part of the Dinos. And I remember looking at Joe like, are you for real? Are you serious? He goes, yeah, man. And of course, you're like, yeah, man, of course we would love to be part of the Dinos.
In a bathroom in West Texas.
In the Crown Royal. I think it was a Crown Royal.
We're going to have to find the exact name for that. But
it is the Crown Royal.
I mean, but these are the stories that you'll never hear somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you thought you were in trouble. You know, you tell you, hey, get in here. And then,
yeah.
So you didn't even give a bluff. Like, look, Joe, we got to talk about it. No. It's a band right away. Y'all both were.
Dude, we were so excited. Of course, we told him a big yes. I think we hugged it out, you know, and you know, of course, we walked out of the restroom, and I don't know if I think he already had told the other band members was gonna go. So he's like, yeah, introducing you the new Dinos, Joe and Pete, la 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 la, and it was kind of like a love fest there. Okay, back to work, picking up the chords, you know.
Hey, and did you have to go get fitted for your outfits, your new outfits, or just wear black for now until we get you?
Puro black, man. Puro black for a while. And it was I'm telling you, this was Christmas. And we were like freaking out, man. And we went home and, you know, for the rest of the holidays. And usually at the beginning of the year, Selena, they would take the first 2-3 weeks off the beginning of the year. So that was going to be the time to rehearse, to incorporate us into the band. And I felt bad, dude, because one of my best friends was getting married during that first week.
During the rehearsal time?
The thing is, I was supposed to be I wasn't the best man, but I was one of the chambelanes.
Yeah.
And I had to dump him, dude. I can't do. I got to rehearse. What do you mean you have to rehearse? I'm part of the Dinos now. And he understood and everything. But to this day, man, because we're still good friends, Jorge Martinez, man, Choche Feo, I apologize again for not being at your wedding. But I had to.
It was for a great cause, let me tell you.
I had to rehearse, and we're still really good friends. But every time we have a couple of drinks, a couple of glasses of wine, he brings it up. Remember, you didn't go to my
wedding. You left me standing there, solo.
So that's how we started, man. We rehearsed those 2-3 weeks, January into '89. And we started touring. We got on the road, and from there, man, it was just one of those things, man. We learned as we went. I mean, I was very green still. Joe probably had a lot more experience than I did, but I was still being part of the band, you know, being part of that environment. And then, of course, you know, you have Selena, who's Selena, and you know, we were just. I'll speak for myself. I was overwhelmed. And it was just, so it was a learning experience. Every day, every weekend was something different, something that I learned. Or I'd be looking at her like, okay, she did this. What can I do now? Okay, she did a little step here. Maybe I should join in. Okay, I'm going to join in. And so it was just.
So some of the things you did were just sporadic, right? Like you just like.
Not some of the things. As far as like the dancing.
Yeah, the dancing.
Everything was sporadic. We never rehearsed.
So y'all never rehearsed the dancing?
Heck no. We would just, it just became part of the routine because we were working a lot.
Yeah.
So it would just become part of the routine, and then she would do something, and then AB would mimic her, or AB would join in, and okay, I'll join in, and then we kind of do it together, and she would stop, then okay, we would stop. So it just became a trial and error kind of thing, and it just grew from there, and we got more comfortable with each other, and it just, the chemistry was amazing, man. I mean, when we joined the band, there was people, and I'll be honest with you, man, and I don't want to be a liar. When we first joined, especially me, because Joe's on the keyboards, but me being kind of in the front with her, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people like,
hey, she needs to be up here. This guy needs to be in the back.
I got a lot of boos when I would start singing. A lot of them, dude.
Eddie, can you imagine that? Like right now, like just how everything, you know, became what it became. But just to stop to think like somebody booing Pete Astudillo on stage, bro.
A lot of boos, vato, and a lot of angry looks. Sácalo. Yo voy a hear Selena, dale. Sácalo. Pelado traga tacos, No, I'm serious. And so I kind of had to win the audience over. And I think what really connected me finally, where people embraced me a little bit more. It was easier with the women. The women embraced me a little bit better. The men were kind of harder to really win them over. But I think the first duet that we did together when we did Ama Me Quiereme. I think that's when we did that song and it came out on an album and it came out on the radio. Then there was kind of a connection there.
So people say that's why he's up front.
Yeah. So that's why. And then I think, but think about it, man. If you really think about it, man, and this just goes to show the character of Selena, but not only Selena, but the whole band. She's going to do a duet. She's doing pretty good already, más o menos. She's doing well. I mean, she's not at the peak, but she's doing well. People know her. Let's get this unknown dude to do it with her. I mean, like, who does that, man? I mean, the leap of faith from AB, from Abraham, from Suzette, from the whole band, from Selena to say, okay, you want me to do a duet? You want me to do it with this little Mexican that nobody knows? You know? So, I mean, she could have picked anybody
to do. Yeah.
So, but no, we're going to get Pete to do it. And I'm like, wow, man, it's amazing. You know?
Pete, but what's more amazing, bro, is your humble beginnings. Like, your stories just in the back of my mind, your humble beginnings just keep coming up. Like you know, you weren't born into music. Nobody pushed you to do music. Like, and then here you are. Of course, we didn't know the outcome was gonna be that. You know, the way everything ended up happening, right? But the fact that you were there, bro, you lived through all of these things, but at the end of that, it's still Pete Astudillo from Laredo, Texas.
And that's what blows my mind, and that's why I thank God every day, man. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart, because been given so much that I could have ever asked for, dude. I mean, in my wildest dreams, that I thought I could be a singer, a writer, to go on and sing and write for one of the most prominent bands in the history of Latino music. I mean, and then from there, write for other bands like the Cumbia Kings, the work I did with AB with them. I mean, for Estúpido Romantic for Grupo Más,
Yes.
You know, Thalia, Veronica Castro. I mean, to do all those things, and then on top of that, I'd be part of a Hollywood movie, man, and play myself in a Hollywood movie with J-Lo, which, if that doesn't make me one of the luckiest men in the world, I mean, I was with, not only with Selena, then I'm with J-Lo, you know, like I got to call them both my friend.
Yeah.
And it's like bizarre. I swear to God, sometimes I think I'm in bizarre.
Yeah.
I want to boo you right
Yeah. So before we jump to the movie, you brought up something about your writing, and for me, one of the most powerful songs of all time.
Que le maten pollo. Oh man, I didn't say that one.
You know, Como la Flor is, you know, and that's brought up in the movie of you guys sitting there on the bus. How true is that scene as far as you writing Como la Flor?
It's very true. The thing is, I mean, it's not specific to that song. It's specific to, I mean, it's
just overall, right?
Overall, yeah. But bottom line, and like I said, and I always say this as kind of a disclaimer, it's been a long time. You know, we forget things and we remember things differently. And I always try to respect everybody that was part of the band, that was part of the process, because I never want to take credit or not give credit.
Right, where it's due.
Yeah, because it's been such a long time. But that song, I can honestly tell you that we were in some Motel 6 somewhere in West Texas, and AB ran out of the shower, and he had an idea for a song, and he told Joe, and they started tinkering with the keyboard, and he kind of started just brainstorming, and he told me, okay, remember this, which was kind of the process for a lot of songs.
Yeah. Don't forget this, Pete. Remember this part.
Don't forget this. And then that's when we kind of started telling me the concept about something about along the lines, you know, en los bailes or the club, they would always give these flowers that were lit.
They would still do it to this day.
So that's what he was thinking in his head, kind of something like that. About a flower being forever or a flower dying, or, you know, so he kind of is brainstorming, and then we kind of started brainstorming together. And then because the thing is, AB does a lot of the melodies. I mean, he does a lot of the concepts too, and he helps me a lot with that. But I'm more of the lyricist. He's the melody guy. I'm more the lyricist. And of course, the band is the arrangers.
They fill in, they come in. Yeah.
Everybody comes in. But I remember that. And then when I started writing the lyrics, I wanted it to be about heartbreak, obviously. But I wanted it to be, because we had to be really careful with Selena. She was so young. She was her image. Well, that wasn't her image. That person she was just so pure and whole and such a good person. We wanted to be really careful what we said. But of course, we had to talk about love, young love, and this was about heartbreak. And so the whole thing was like, she's so heartbroken, but she's still so kind and so good that she'd rather let him go and be happy somewhere else instead of not being happy with me. That was the whole idea of the concept of the song. Like, and I think we captured it. And I think, of course,
you captured it for sure.
And she, of course, sang the heck out of it. And that was the idea behind that song. But, a lot of songs, it was a word or something. I always remember La Carcacha, because we were at...
You're good.
La Carcacha, we were in Eagle Pass. And I'm pretty sure this was what the story is. And if I'm wrong, once again, I'm sorry. But we were at a baile. It was an old HEB or an old Safeway, un salón de baile. And we're inside our bus, and there was a friend of ours, I think his name was Patty. There was really good friends of the girls, of all of us. And she would get to hang out with us because she was close to us. And more importantly, she was close to Selena and Suzette. But she was desmadre, and she was but like in a good way, like relaje, and
desmadre.
Eagle Pass, compadre. It's Eagle Pass, and so we're inside the bus, and the cars started getting there, for the dance, and era temprano, and of course she started saying, mira aquel carro, and she started talking like just funny little things, not burlándose. She wasn't making fun of them. She was just making funny comments, and this and that. Y mira estos que no pagaron los biles, para qué están en el baile, que sabe. But we just little jokes, that's between us, just like little jokes.
Yeah.
And I remember she says that, mira estos, vienen como 20 en la carcacha esa, vienen como 20 ahí metidos todos. So, and I'm paraphrasing here. She was just saying jokes, and she said carcacha. And then AB looked at me and go, what's that? He goes, what you said? Carcacha? Yeah. It's an old car. It's an old
beater.
A beater, an old beater. He's all cool. And I remember him saying, like, don't forget that word. I go, okay, I won't.
He told you that?
Yeah. And I go, okay. And that's like I'm saying, words or moments or something like that. And like I said, I might be a little, I might be like a little off, and maybe I'm embellishing the story a little too much, or maybe a little too little and not giving credit. But bottom line is, it was that word at the end of the day that he heard, and he has, what is that? And he gets, it's a beater. It's un carro viejo, un carro que no sirve, una carcacha. And he I remember him saying, remember that word because we're going to use that. And sure enough, that's the beginning of the title of La Carcacha. Yeah. And then from there, of course, we go back, to the musicians, Ricky, Joe, and we start messing with the melody, his melody, and then we start creating this. He wanted to recreate with the music the junk club. That's what, like, he wanted to recreate like a car barely making it, viejo, coming in. And I think they did a really good job. I mean, and going back to what I said earlier, Carcacha, I wrote that with AB. Selena sang the hell out of it, but there was an army of people behind that, Ricky, Joe, Chris, Seth. I mean, a lot of people behind that song. And at the end of the day, we wanted to have a moral. It's not about being avaricioso. It's having values beyond money. No estar interesada. Who cares if he has a carcacha? He's a good man. So we wanted to go back again to the wholesome of who Selena was.
Right.
So that's the way I feel it. Maybe one day you can bring AB in here, and it'd be cool if we ask him the same thing and let's see then compare.
If he has the same stories.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I was more of like I said, I'm more of the lyricist. He was more of the melody guy. But like I said, a lot of the concepts also came from him, where he would tell me, this is what I kind of want to say. He would tell me in English. And I go, okay, dude, you okay? This is what you, yeah, like that.
That sounds good.
And there was a really good chemistry. There still is, man. We're still writing as we speak, AB and I.
That's crazy.
As a matter of fact, we just put out a song So I'm gonna give you more homework. Banda MS. You're
Yeah.
familiar with, they recorded one of our songs. AB and I wrote a song, and Babo from San Antonio.
Babo, Chris's
Yeah,
homie.
Babo.
Yeah.
We wrote a song called Es Viernes for Banda MS and AB, which is out now. Go check it out. Es Viernes, and call your local DJs, the local stations. Every Friday, call and say, play Es Viernes. And I wrote that with AB and with Babo. And Banda MS just released it at the end of the year.
That's awesome.
The video's out, too.
Shout out to Babo, man. I love that guy. Anytime I'm around that guy, that dude is just. He's just a free soul, bro.
No,
like that guy is he's awesome. Shout out to him. So fast forward to the movie, right? I know a lot of my viewers we're getting towards the end of the show here, but I know it would be not a disgrace, but it would be a disjustice, so to say.
An injustice.
Disjustice. There you go, AC Jones education. It would be not a disjustice, an injustice.
LISD, compadre, puro 956 LISD in the house. Hey, that's what 2 years of junior college does to you.
There you go. You see, you get to learn the big ones. It would be an injustice if we didn't talk about the movie, which you played yourself in, which not a lot of people in this world get to do. If you stop to think about it, there's so many documentaries, there's movies, right, and they always talk to the person and like, oh, I met this guy and I wanted him to see who I was, and he did a very good job portraying me, but you got to be yourself.
Yeah, man.
So, some of the questions I have for you for that, we kind of talked about a little bit off camera, but when you got approached to play your part, Pete, did you even have to think about it, or you were because again, like you told me earlier, it was very close to Selena's passing. Like it wasn't like 10 years had gone by and like, oh, let's make a movie now. Like it was still very a very recent thing in all of our hearts, and it was still just fresh. The wounds were fresh. So when you got asked. Was it a phone call? Was it? I mean, you remember? You remember that?
Yeah, man. I think I was. I think it was like they had some offices or some type of setup where they were kind of holding auditions. I think it was here in San Antonio. I know for a fact. And Abraham, well, of course, I'm very close to everyone, and at that time. I already had a solo career at that time.
Right, you were already doing your own thing.
And of course, Abraham was my manager at that time. So we had a lot of communication. Of course, I was still talking to everybody. Everybody was still really close. It was very fresh. And I think Abraham called me and asked me if I would be interested in doing it. And of course, I think I gave a resounding yes. It was just so crazy to even think about it. But it was just. I don't think I thought about it too much, and I never thought about it to the point that what am I getting myself into? I think it was just so exciting,
right?
Just think like somebody want me to be in a movie, and so I said
with no acting experience.
Well, remember
whatsoever.
I did. Local, remember all that
the theater.
I did Laredo theater.
Theater,
came in to play a little bit.
No, but what I'm saying is like the other thing is like I'm thinking at this, you're playing yourself.
Yeah.
So how are you going to tell me what I, you know what I mean? How I feel, how I dance, what I say, how I say it. So I could see that a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, but it was one of those things. It was going back to kind of like a lot of experiences in my life that it was kind of crazy. I never expected. I mean, in my wildest dreams. So when Abraham asked me if I would be interested, I said yes. He goes, you have to audition, man. He goes, yeah, I do. He goes, yeah, you have to audition. He goes, okay. He goes, yeah, like, dude, you have to do a read. Okay, I'll do it. So they called me in, and it was the director Nava was there, Gregory Nava,
yeah,
and some assistants or some staff that was there, and they gave me something to read, and I did the read, and I could have sworn he goes like, that's good, and he goes, can you lose 15 pounds?
Just like that.
Yes. And it goes, I guess I'll try, And I wasn't even that overweight at the time. But the thing is, I guess they wanted me to look a lot younger to represent the character through the years or whatever. And he goes, yeah, man, I'll do it. And he goes, okay. He goes, I think we're cool. And they get
los tacos y las sodas, ya gone, bro.
Las carnitas Uruapan ahí tampoco.
There you go.
Pues todo para los amigos de carnitas Uruapan.
There you go.
So no, he goes, I go, yeah, man, yes, I love to. And I was like, so does that mean I have the part? I mean, I don't understand. And he goes, no, we'll stay in touch. Okay, cool. And I'm like, am I gonna be in a movie, man? Am I really gonna be in a movie? And then of course, when I found out, of course, it's Eddie Olmos and Jennifer Lopez. And Jennifer Lopez was not known at the time, but she had done Money Train.
Money Train?
I had seen Money Train.
Yeah.
They go, the chick from Money Train. Oh, wow, man, she's really good looking.
Masota linda de mi vida. Shout out to J-Lo. You ever come across this interview?
We were big friends of that show in Living Color. Mm-hmm. We watched that all the time back in the day, in the bus and everything. We recorded and stuff. So of course I knew of J-Lo, and I said, wow, it's gonna be J-Lo, and of course Eddie Olmos. Who doesn't know Eddie Olmos? Mm-hmm. Edward James Olmos, and then some of the new faces, John Seda and Jacob Vargas, and then when finally I said, yeah, you got the part. Like, wow, I got the part. Yeah, you got the part. And they said, but it's gonna be for exposure only. Nah,
that's where I'm like, hold on, man, hold on, it can't be for exposure.
No, I got It's a funny story, but I got kind of paid kind of like an extra type of thing, because I really was kind of an extra, because I mean, even though it was part of the real life story of the movie, I wasn't a main character per se, but I started, once I started getting to know everybody in the movie, J-Lo included, and Jacob Vargas, and John Seda, and Jackie Guerra, who played Suzette, we all became really good friends. I remember one night that we were all kind of probably drinking a little, having a little too much fun. And they started asking me, like, how much you getting paid? And I don't want to talk about that. Like, no, how much you getting paid? And I never told them. And he goes, dude, you should be getting paid like a main actor. Because they said, because when we see you on the script, when they give us the scripts for every day, you're an extra. He goes, you should be an extra. He goes, you should be getting paid like a real actor. Because he goes, you're the real deal. Like, dude, I'm just happy to be here, man. And of course, so they started giving me tips on things to do to get recognized more. So they would kind of bump me up to like
to actor status.
Yeah. And it kind of worked, man. Then I became part of Screen Actors Guild y toda la cosa.
Nice.
I had my SAG card. And
there you
so
go, man.
They were really cool. Do you know what? The whole movie, everybody that worked on it, from the people.
Who was the coolest out of the actors? You got to pick one.
Oh, man.
I'm going to put you on the spot like that.
Dude, I mean, Eddie, man. I mean, to me, Eddie's Eddie. And I remember the first time I saw him, I knew who he was. And I remember him walking. We were staying at the Gunther downtown. That's where everybody was staying. Uh-huh. And I was checking in, I think, because I had to do some work that week. And he walks in with his wife, and he looks at me. And of course, he doesn't know me. He probably knows me because he's seen the videos and all that stuff. And he goes, Pete. And I turn and it's Eddie Olmos. It's Eddie Olmos, man. Like, you go, hi, hey. Like,
I thought you were going to tell me, the finger man, stand and deliver, bro. When he was a math, the math teacher.
So he walks toward me. I'm like checking in at the front desk, and he hugs me. I'm like, Pete, I want to know everything, man. He goes, what are you doing tonight? Like, I'm checking in. You're having dinner with me. Go to my room. I want you're having dinner with me. I want to talk to you. And I go, okay, man. So I went up to his room, and he started, poking at my brain. He goes, well, what would you all do in this situation? Or what would Abraham do in this situation? Or tell me something I don't know about Abraham. Or tell me something I don't know about you guys. And he just started poking at my brain.
Dude.
And he I think he bought barbecue or something. We're eating costillas with Eddie Olmos, and he's picking at my brain, and it was such a incredible.
I think you couldn't have found a better person to play Abraham as far as like the facial expressions, like for me, you know, from what I've seen of Abraham and then, you know, watching the movie, like I think he did a great, he did a great part.
He really did an incredible, I mean, everybody did. And I remember we finished the night and he hugged me, he goes, I know we don't know each other. He said, but after this movie, we're going to be friends forever, man. And like, wow, man, dude, I got goosebumps when he told me. I almost got goosebumps right now again. But when he told me that, like, that is amazing. I mean, this guy's amazing.
You're friends with one of our legendary Chicano actors of all time.
Let me tell you a really quick funny story. This is really funny. And this is, we became really good friends through the movie and stuff. And then one time he had to do the Billboard Awards or some major awards. They invited him because he was going to give Carlos Santana a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I don't even know how I got invited, but he invited me. And I ended up going in his entourage to the Billboard Awards in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And we were like front row because he was going to be giving the award to Santana and all this. And I'm there sitting, and I think ZZ Top's behind me, and Madonna's over here. I mean, I'm talking, it was crazy, man. And I'm like freaking out. Like, oh my! I mean, I know that I come from, I'm from Selena, los Dinos, and everything, and I take all that in stride. Of course, I mean, I'm not easily, not that I'm not saying easily impressed, but that was like a lot, man.
That was big time.
I was with Eddie Olmos, with Carlos Santana. You know, ZZ Top behind me.
You got to like chill with Carlos.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That's nuts. So we're there. So this is the funny part. This is the funny part. So check it out. So this is like I'm here. I'm at the award, like in the front row, y toda la cosa. So one of the assistants comes and gets Eddie. I call him Eddie. That's how close we are. Eddie. I come and get Eddie. He goes, Mr. Olmos, we have to get him to the back because you have to do the presentation, blah, blah, blah. So they take him out, and he took his makeup person. So he leaves. So he leaves, and then some people sit there. And then some people got up from where I was, and I just stayed there, dude. And then the moment some people got up from where I was, some people sat there. And I'm like looking around, like, what the hell's going on? And then I found out later, and they said that there was a guy sitting next to me, and then there's another girl, and where Eddie was, and all them people were sitting down. And according to, because this was a live show.
Yeah.
So then, okay, we're going back on production, la 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 la. Okay, everybody, production, whatever, you know. And then they go, okay, let's go. And then the guy goes, let's go. The guy that sat next to me, he goes, let's go. And I go, where? He goes, let's go. It's gonna start. He goes, they're gonna come back. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, aren't you a seat filler? I go, what's a seat filler? And then he looked at me like, he goes, I go like, I'm here with Eddie. And he goes, who's Eddie? I go, Eddie Olmos? And he's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And he gets up and leaves. Because when people get up, they want to put people in it so it looks crowded all the time. And I got confused for being a seat filler, and I got back down to reality at that point. I was a little Mexican from South Texas once again. But I had the greatest laugh after it.
Pete Astudillo's new album, Seat Filler. Hey, an empty, just like a bunch of seats in the theater with the light on just one seat.
But it was such a, and you know what? I didn't even get mad or anything. I thought it was hilarious, man. And then I told them, and we had a laugh about it, and then later on we're having dinner with Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
And they tell him what happened. And like, no, I don't want to tell him. So. Next thing you know, I'm there singing a song for Carlos Santana at a nice restaurant in Las Vegas after being called a seat filler.
Dang, dude.
But that was awesome, man.
For a rocker, and right now I'm thinking like you loved rock and roll.
Oh, hell, man.
To be there with Carlos Santana for you was probably like,
dude,
Elvis Presley, dude.
Man, it was amazing, and he was such a wonderful person. I mean, I'm sure he still is. I just haven't seen him in a long time, but he was such a good guy, and you could just. he just
His
oozes.
vibe- his vibe is awesome.
He almost puts you at ease. He's almost like therapeutic, and he starts talking to you, and everybody's just listening to it. I mean, and then next to him you got Eddie Olmos talking to, like, we're like in a trance at some point.
Wow.
And of course Abraham was there too. Abraham was there, and I mean, it was an incredible night, and it was. I always remember, but it always takes me back to being called the seat filler at the Billboard Awards, dude.
That's crazy, man.
I love it.
You gotta get a shirt. You gotta get a shirt that says just seat filler and sell them on your website or wherever you got. That would I'd buy one with Pete Astudillo's autograph underneath it with seat filler.
I'm not a seat filler.
And one of my last questions about the movie, Pete, was, you know, you kind of answered a little bit with Edward asking you right away, like, hey, I want to know a little bit about this. But did other than the cast, like the people making the movie, did they ever come to you and they were open for you to say, like, well, she didn't really dance like that, or I'm just using that as an example, but did they ask you for pointers on, as far as like the stage presence or something that you were very powerful in the Dinos? Did they come to you and say, like, hey Pete, what do you think about the stage setup or whatever, or it was already set in play?
No, you know what, dude, let me tell you one. That movie, from, you know, A to Z, anybody working in any capacity, it was a labor of love, dude. It really was. The commitment, the energy. It was a labor of love from everyone. Mm-hmm. And going back to what you just said, Ricky Vella's, a lot of people don't realize it, but Ricky Vella's in the movie too. Ricky Vella played himself too in the movie.
Yeah.
So they would ask us once in a while. We'd be like in the bus, and they'd, okay, the scene's gonna be la 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 la. You know, everybody knows their lines, and sometimes they would look at us like, "Will you guys really do this, or would you do something else?" And Ricky, like, I mean, we would like giving him advice, but like, no, we wouldn't do that, or Selena wouldn't do this, or kind of that type of thing, you know, little tips here and there. But sometimes they would look at us and say, like, was this really what you guys would do? Or it would be something different? Or is this something that was in common? And they did ask us a couple of times. Of course, the dancing part, which is when the first part that I met J-Lo. And it blew my mind the first time I saw her, because I think it was at the Josephine Theater here, close to the Pearl.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Well, they told me, you got to go to the Josephine Theater. You're going to rehearse with the band and with J-Lo. Like, okay. So I get there, and she's there doing the spins like kind of what Selena would do. And she's wearing this T-shirt, and she's got a tie, kind of like what Sel would do, and the ties. And like, it really took me for a... I mean, it really shocked me. It took me for... Because she looked like her tons, man. And of course, she's doing the spinning, and she's doing the whole thing. And then she stops, and she sees me, and like, oh, LSP, oh, yeah, hi. And she was amazing. I mean, she goes, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here, because I want to connect, and I want to do this, and I want to see, you know, what you guys used to do. And he goes, I know I've seen a lot of video, but it's really cool to have you here because you were with her.
You lived it.
Yeah. And the same thing with Ricky. And you know, Ricky, I mean, Don Sheldon was there too. I mean, Don Sheldon, may he also rest in peace, was part of that, was there. Art Mesa on the congas. But it was you could tell the appreciation from the actors, and like I said, like Eddie. And
then you know how important was this movie to our people and to our cultura. Yeah, I mean, it's up there in the top 3 movies of Mexican American culture. It is. I mean, it would. I don't know. I couldn't tell you there would be something to knock it off. No, it'd be really, really hard.
It was an amazing experience. Like I tell you, it literally felt. And then again, maybe I've never done a movie before, and maybe that's the way they saw it on all sets. But to me, it just felt like everybody was just so giving, so loving, that the attention to detail, and everybody was just for a cause, and the cause was Sel, her memory, getting it right, doing it right, you know, and it was so important, and you could just see it in everybody's faces. It was just, it was a labor of, I mean, the best way I can explain is a labor of love. And like I said, I know I can't compare because I haven't done a bunch of movies, but this one, man, it felt so good.
Pete, you're a big part of our industry. You're a big part of a lot of people's childhood. You're a big part. Just stop to think of like all the little girls that grew up watching the movie Selena over and over and over and over again. You're embedded in their head forever, forever. It's like looking at a Ken doll. Like, no, I'm serious. Like you are associated with that for the rest of your life, man. And you've done. I mean, the interviews and just things that you've done, you've always carried yourself, one, so humbly, and just you've always made it a point to say it's an honor. It was an honor for you to be able to have the, you know, to be part of the Dinos, man.
Dude, it was, it still is, and I mean, I won't be part of the roles, and you know, at some point, but it's something that I take with me, and I know it's something that I live a little bit of here through the music.
Yeah,
I leave it in this world for future generations, and that is something that brings me tons of joy, that even after I'm long gone, man, the music's gonna live on.
And your name's behind and written behind all these crazy lyrics. A lot of people don't know, like you mentioned earlier, Estúpido Romántico you wrote. What is one of the most popular songs besides Estúpido Romántico that you wrote outside the Selena camp?
There's not too many, but for Maz, we did Acaso No Soy. Acaso No Soy, I wrote that for Maz, and then I wrote Estúpido Romántico with Ricky Vela, of course. We did some stuff for Thalia, for Veronica Castro. But a lot of the majority of the stuff I did was for Sel. And for myself, and for AB, Cumbia King, Se Fue Mi Amor, Se Fue.
So can Pete Astudillo still go out to dinner or walk through the mall and go buy himself a new pair of tennies or some new jeans, and people don't really mess with you, or you and I don't mean mess with you in a bad way, but like stop, hey, can I get a pic? Like, as there can to this day, can you go into somewhere and you know, people not
it's about half and half. It depends where I'm at. It depends the time of the day. And it's never bothered me. I mean, to the point that I don't want to do this. You know, especially if it's kids. I mean, if a little kid wants to take a picture, and or I mean, anybody for that matter. But if it's kids,
especially a kid, I know what you mean.
Even more so. But no, man, I'll be at HEB, man, with my carreton, you know, getting my groceries, and sure enough, somebody's like, I'm so sorry, can we take a picture with you? Like, at HEB? Let's do it, you know? And
make sure you buy HEB products.
Yeah. And then the funniest one is also when I get these these moms, you know, like the mom that want to take a picture, and their kids are like on the side looking like, why is mom freaking out? You know, like why? Like they're looking at her and she's taking a picture with me, and then she'll turn around and say, he used to sing with Selena. And the moment I say he used to sing with Selena, they lose it. Like, oh, okay, now I get it. They make the connection.
That's
and
awesome,
then it's cool because I guess mom's not a weirdo after all.
Yeah. She's not just saying, who the hell is this guy?
To me, that's the most impressive part. When I see the new generation of fans, the new generation of kids, I mean, oh man, it blows my mind that el amor, el cariño que le tienen, like they knew her like in real life, like, or they saw her concerts. There's a whole new generation of Selena fans, and there's one born every day, man. It's amazing.
And it's amazing that even after all these years, it's still growing and it's still growing. And again, going back to what I said earlier, you know, what I really love is I like to see the other cultures embracing her.
Yeah.
And not just the English album, like knowing Bidi Bidi Bum Bum, knowing Como La Flor. When you see these little girls singing, like there was the African-American father with his daughter, and she starts singing Selena, and he's recording her like, where'd you learn this? He's like, what do you mean? You don't know Selena? He's like, I'm trying to figure out how you learn Spanish. Like, where'd you learn that? Right? That's amazing, man.
It is, man.
You know, that she touched that many people's lives, and she's going to continue to touch that many people's lives. And it's just crazy, Pete, that you were along for the ride, man. And not only that, even after all that happened, you still continue to find a way, and you know, you came out with Como Te Extraño, and like that song. For a kid born in the late 70s, all the kids born in the 80s, like that song was in a good way. It was again one of those wounds that was still fresh, and that song came, and it was just like chingo, chates chingo de sal, there, you know what I mean? But for a good, for you know what I mean?
It was supposed to be therapeutic. Well, it was therapeutic.
Therapeutic.
Right?
No. I get it.
No. And it really was. And I'm telling you the truth. When AB and I wrote that, and Joe also took part of that song too. We said, you know, we kind of had the same thing in mind, even without talking about it. And we said, we don't want to talk about death. He goes, we're not going to mention Sal, which we don't. We're not going to mention my mom, because it was for both my mom and for Sal. He goes, and it's just going to be about longing, about missing somebody so bad. And he goes, and it's going to be, but in a good way, that it's going to heal. So this is not only for us, not only for your mom and Sal, but this is para la raza. This is for everyone. To heal. For their own healing about Selena or their own personal lives. And that's what the idea was. At least that's what I think we both were thinking. Yeah. And that's what we were driving for.
I mean, you did it. You absolutely did it. Again, it's going to be one of those songs that will forever be in our genre. It's just one of those songs that takes us back to all those memories. Yeah. Even to this day, when I hear that song, it's like, turn it up and let's sing it at the top of our lungs. But you know. Again, Pete, even through this whole interview, just looking over at you, man, like in the back of my mind, for me as a fan of the music, a fan of yourself, like it's just a nostalgic feeling to have somebody of your stature here with me to speak Tejano, to speak your life, to speak who you are. You keep going back to saying, you know, this young Mexican kid from Laredo, like. And I truly believe that's your belief. That's your most humblest belief. Like,
but it really is the truth, man. It really is the truth that I have to pinch myself sometimes. I say, like, I'm telling you, and it's. I went from working in the fields with my family to sharing the stage with Selena Dinos. Yeah. I was like, wow. And then from there, sharing the stage with J-Lo and Edward James Olmos. And then from there, to being in your home with Bumper, man, which is as important, because what you do for this industry, what you're doing for La Onda, for Los Tejanos, whatever you want to call it, man, what you're doing is important, man. And that's why I'm honored to be here at your home.
No, it is a great honor and a privilege, you know, to have you here. And, you know, to everybody watching, man, to everybody who watched tonight, like, Pete's still here, but he's still rocking. He's still making music. I mean, you just heard him go out and get the new Banda MS song that's out. Make sure you guys are out there requesting it. Viernes, right?
It's called Es Viernes. Banda MS, A.B. Quintanilla. We also got a song coming out with. I've been working with Jennifer Pena.
Okay.
We got a song coming out with Jennifer Pena. Be looking out for Jennifer Pena. Also, I got a song coming out with Jesse Turner, Zeddy from Cumbia Kings, and El Neto from Guadalajara. Something that I wrote with AB 20 years ago.
And you're doing it, you're barely going to do it now.
We redid it already, man.
Wow.
So be looking out for that. And of course,
Pura piña collab too, P?
No, compadre, pura piña collab. I gotta use that, man. I gotta use that. No, but to you know, I love writing. I write in every style. Lo que me llega, lo que escribo. Example, this song, Esto es pa' mi raza. I know it's not Tejano. It was something that was supposed to be very personal just for me, for my family. Through people insisting and people from the industry, friends, good friends, El Bird included, just said, you know, you need to put it out. He goes, I know it's not Tejano. I know people are going to maybe freak out a little bit because it's not the style you usually do. He goes, but the message is what's important. And I think, you know, it's a song for the working class. It's a song for the underdogs. It's a song for the dreamers, for the people that don't think they have a voice. It's a voice for them.
Yeah.
To tell them, you know what, you are important, man. You know, working at a taqueria or working at the 7-Eleven or at the Circle K or working picking up trash or cutting the grass or, you know, it's important, man. Yeah. And it's the backbone of this country. The working class people, man, are the backbone of this country. And we have to give them the credit that they deserve. Along the way, I'm giving my family the credit they deserve. My parents, man, they sacrificed for me and my siblings. So somebody down the line did the same for you. And that's what this song is about. You know, giving credit where credit is due. The working class, la raza, la gente que se parte, la madre todos los días, just to put some tortillas on the table. And that's what the song is, and it's my gift to you. Esta es pa mi raza.
So make sure you guys request it. We know it's not like, we know that it's not like you said, maybe you don't consider it Tejano. Hey, Pete Astudillo is Tejano. I don't care if he makes a rap song. I'm gonna jam it. You know what I mean? And Pete, this is the part of the show before we call it quits. I give the co-host or my guest, I give him the mic. If you want to give any saludos, any thank yous, anything you want to do, the mic is yours, and then we'll.
Compadre, pues first of all, thank you, man. Thank you, Bumper. Thank you. My compadre acá.
El Eddie.
Thank you for keeping it together. But no, man, I just want to really and truly the fans, man, the fans that I've been doing this for almost 40 years. Is that right? That doesn't seem right?
Well, your hair doesn't say 40. This hair says 40. That hair does not say 40.
About 40 years. I started in 85. So almost 40 years doing this. And it's been an incredible ride. And I owe that ride to some people that believed in me. Selena and Los Dinos, AB, particularly Mr. Quintanilla, the whole band, man. I owe them a debt of gratitude to the day I die, man. No les puedo pagar por la confianza, for believing in me, man. And even till today, AB and I are still working together. But along the road, man, a lot of people helped me out, a lot of musicians. Turi Alvear will be...
Turi, yeah, shout out to Turi, yeah.
We'll be sometime with you soon, I think. All the musicians that work with me, man. Johnny, Jesse, you know who you are. Of course, Joe, todos los Dinos, Chris, Ricky, Suzette, AB, Joe, Mr. Quintanilla, Marcy. Toda la gente que me ha ayudado a llegar hasta aquí. And like I said, last but not least, the fans, man. They keep the music alive. They request the music. They go to our dances. And they keep, the music alive, man. We got a lot more. I think I have a lot left in the burner, man. So ojalá, you stick around and have listen to what I come up with in the future. Es puro corazón. I do it from the bottom of my heart. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's a hit. Sometimes it isn't. But everything's from the bottom of my heart. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for so many years.
Man. So again, ladies and gentlemen, here with the great, the legend, Mr. Pete Astudillo. For me, the hairs on my arm have been standing up for the last 2 hours. The nostalgia feeling of just being next to him. In a sense, I know people are like, Bumper pinche fanboy a madre. Call me what you want, bro. I'm here next to Pete Astudillo, and so for me, it's just awesome feeling. Pete, I want to thank you for all the great childhood memories. I want to thank you for everything you've done for our industry, for all the great music that we've just that are legendary hits that we're gonna sing forever. Thank you for those, man. And I look forward to anything that you have your hands in. Of course, I want to check it out, and I want people to go and check it out and show love, because again, you are a big part of our cultura, a big part of the Tejano industry, and it needs to be said, and people need to enjoy Pete Astudillo.
Like I said, thank you so much. This song, Estas Pa' Mi Raza, is available now on all digital platforms, something I had never done before. And if you want to catch up with keep informed, not that we didn't talk a lot tonight, you can follow me on Pete Astudillo Official on Instagram. So just remember, it's Pete Astudillo Official. And I got the check mark. So
you got the check mark. That means you're legit. That means you're legit.
And Technomex on Facebook. TEKNOMEX on Facebook. And if you want to see what's going on with us, God willing, I want to get back on the road. So I'm going to be coming to a town near you hopefully soon. We're going to get the band back together and get back to work. In the meantime, we're going to keep writing. And in the meantime, ahí les dejo estas para mi raza de tarea. Ojalá que les guste.
But real quick, that means when you go back in the room, it's not just going to be you and Joe.
What?
It's not gonna. It's a joke. It's gonna be.
It's gonna be a bad boy reunion.
No, while I cue this up because I do want to end it with that. I just again, man, Pete, you just for me, you have no idea what it is for you to be here with me, and you can see what I'm trying to do here. It's hold on. Don't hit it yet. Don't hit it. Don't hit it yet. Don't hit it yet. I thank you, man. I know you got 100 things to do, but the fact that you came here and hung out with Bumpers Wacky Wednesday means a lot to me, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
On the contrary, man. I really appreciate you having me here. You invitarme aquí a tu casa. I'm grateful. So grateful, man. Sincerely, y te lo digo de corazón, man. Thank you for what you do, man. You really are bringing awareness to la onda, to la raza, to a Tejano, whatever you want to call it. You're bringing awareness in a good way, in a positive way, which is what we need. We need to unite. We need to support each other. Collaborations are beautiful too, man. So I mean, just keep it positive, man. Just keep it positive.
There you go. So right here, the latest, guys, Pa Mi Raza by Mr. Pete Astudillo. Make sure you guys download it on all your digital platforms. Y'all have a good one. Peace.